Corvette. I think she just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable while you transfer. See rules in-app.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something.
The nerve shot. Dropped at the feet of Montembeau. Flipped just by Colson. Now Savoy. Put Colson. Savoy. Dolman. In front. Backhand stall. Put Colson. 6-5. Edmonton.
Colson's first of the season. Great work by Savoy. Puck possession, making plays in tight spaces.
Dolman. Front. Second and 10. Going for it. Oh, out in front. Hold in. McCarthy. Touchdown. Ten.
His first one here at Rogers Center. And the 2-1 driven to center field, and he just did it. A rocket to straightaway center, his first home run in front of the hometown fans.
Jason Gregor Show.
Colson's first of the season. Great work by Savoy. Puck possession, making plays in tight spaces.
On Sports 1440.
And the 2-1. He just did it. A rocket to straightaway center, his first home run in front of the hometown fans.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Second and 10. Going for it. Oh, out in front. Hold in. Glad McCarthy. Touchdown.
Well, a positive Friday. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440. sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as always, brought to you by playalberta.ca, your one-stop shop. And hey, if you're interested, the World Series begins tonight, and they got a lot of new odds, a lot of new odd boosts, and more. So check it out at playalberta.ca. We'll be talking lots of Jays, lots of Dodgers today. Who isn't excited for the World Series? I'm sure. Don't worry. Don't text it. No, I don't like baseball. That's okay. You don't have to like baseball, but it's not the day to tell everybody you don't like baseball. I don't see the point in it. I think there's lots of sports I don't like. I don't go around announcing, hey, I don't like that sport. Whatever. Don't watch it. No big deal. But a lot of people are going to watch it. Should be good. Last night, I don't know. Well, I'll say this. The Oilers game, it was entertaining. There's a lot of games in the regular season that can be ho-hum, not much happens. Last night, a lot happened. Some good, some bad, some ugly, some frustration, some immaturity. There was a lot going on in that game. And the Edmonton Oilers, their offense, we talked about it beforehand. At some point, they had to wake up. And their offense did wake up. They scored 6 goals, scored 3 5-on-5 goals for the first time all season long. So there is some small positives in the game, but there's lots of areas of their game that was not good. And they knew it. They didn't shy away from it. They were pretty candid about it, to be honest. And we'll see where they go. But Podkolzin scores his first of the season, first since his father passed. We'll hear from some comments from him. David Tomasic got his first NHL goal, assisted by Podkolzin and Philp. I thought that line was actually pretty decent. I thought Adam Henrique, who scored, had himself another solid game. The Oilers' power play came through huge with 2 goals in 58 seconds to tie the game. You're trailing 5-3. Matheson takes a tripping call with about, 9 minutes left in the game? And the Oilers scoring the man advantage. Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid, Draisaitl goal. Nice goal. Many of you watched it. Now, my understanding is the TSN broadcast didn't show the whole play as to why Josh Anderson got his 2-minute unsportsmanlike on it. When you see the actual video, so he shoots the puck away. Now, lots of guys shoot the puck away after goals. That's not going to get you a penalty. But if you watch the replay, Josh Anderson, after shooting the puck, then stares down the ref, skates towards him, tapping his stick. I have no idea what he said. But if you look in the rule book, you can bark at officials, you can say some profanity. Usually they're not getting a penalty. You do a stick tap like, oh, great call, great job, you're going to get a penalty all day. Name the last time you saw that. People are like, oh, it happens all the time. What are you talking about? It never happens. When was the last time you saw an NHL player do the stick tap motion, skating towards the official, not once, not twice. He did 5 taps. It's a blatant showing up the official. You're going to get called every time. It's no different than Bouchard. That's the first game I've seen in a long time where there was 2 penalties called, both coming right after a goal was scored. Anderson's and Bouchard in the first period. Montreal goes up 1-0. Bouchard, blatant slash, no reason to do it, gets called. Now, doesn't happen very often, but it's a penalty. There's no debate to me. That's a penalty to Bouchard. And it's a penalty to Anderson. But here's the kicker. And anybody who's listening to the show, and Oilers fans don't like it when, because I don't blame refs. Refs are going to make a bad call. Here's the thing. Gallagher even admitted the Slavkovsky penalty was not a penalty. I think most would agree. It wasn't a penalty. Gallagher says the officials admitted afterwards they missed a call. Well, what else are you supposed to do? Can't bring it back. Right? That's what happens. Refs are going to miss calls. And I've always said, when the ref says, sorry, man, I missed it, there's not much more you can say. That should usually be like, all right, well, hey, he missed it. It happens. And here's the thing. On the Slavkovsky penalty, they didn't score. Right? It didn't. So what matters? Yeah, you can be frustrated about it, but they didn't score on it. So it had 0 negative impact in the game. Then Matheson takes a penalty. They score. So if you're still mad about a penalty that happened at that point 12 minutes earlier in the game, You got to control your, it's a 5-4 game. You got to have control of your emotions. I'm sorry. But here's the ultimate thing. And I'll say, just because the ref gives you a penalty doesn't mean you have to allow the other team to score. The best, like, look on average. What's the NHL power play averages here? 20%? 21? Like 1 out of every 5 kills on average. Now, the Edmonton Oilers coming into the game weren't even 1 out of every 4. But even let's say, okay, Oilers, they've been pretty good. 1 out of 4. You just gave 2 out of 2 in a span of 58 seconds. How's that the ref's fault? Yeah, they called you a penalty, but you get penalties all the time. Like, I'm sorry. When the Oilers get bad calls against them, anyone who listens to the show, because trust me, I get a lot of hate on it, and that's fine. The refs, they're going to make a bad call. So guess what? Don't compound it by giving up 2 power play goals. Pretty simple. And even then, it's a tie game, and the Oilers for the last 10 minutes, they woke up, because for the first 50 minutes, they were brutal. My goodness, that game, Montreal should have had more than 5 goals. And it wasn't because of great goaltending. It's just, they, like, watch how many times they missed a pass, went off the guy's stick. He's wide open, tap in goals. Now, the Oilers, to their credit, as Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I thought he said it very well. He goes, we found a way to lead the game, and then we just stopped playing. At Mangiapane made it 3-1. The Oilers had scored 2 goals in under 3 minutes in the middle of the second period to go from 1-1 to 3-1. Now they're up. Now that's a concern because we saw them blow a 3-0 lead to Calgary. We saw them blow a 2-0 lead to Ottawa, and they blew a 3-1 lead to Montreal. So that's 3 out of 8 games where you've blown a 2-goal lead. That's not ideal. It's another thing they got to clean up. Chris Knobloch said, hey, man, there's a lot we can clean up. Obviously, you're happy you get the win. You'll take the win. But it was not pretty. But what was pretty was the game-winning goal. Wallman down low. And Darnell Nurse, like, geez, talk about a giveth and taketh away game by Darnell Nurse. So Darnell Nurse on the 3rd goal, he missed what was a tap-in crease pass. Right, goes off his stick, misses. Now he goes behind the net. He might have made at that point the greatest pass I've ever seen Darnell Nurse make. Behind the back, through the legs, right onto the tape of Mangiapane, and he scores a one-timer in front. That's a great pass. Like, that's a Draisaitl-like pass. Now, unfortunately, on the next Montreal goal, 3 minutes later, Nurse has control of the puck, gives it away. 2 passes later, back of the net. That play can't happen. He had another bad giveaway, did not lead to a goal, luckily for him. But then, look at the pass he made on the Podkolzin play. Wallman down to Nurse, great one-touch pass, quickly, didn't dust it off, gives it right to Podkolzin, who made a great play in front. So Nurse has 2 primary assists that were great, and he had a few bonehead giveaways. It was a giveth, taketh away game for him. Kind of symbolic of the game for the whole team. I thought there's a few guys that played well. Now Howard didn't register any points. I thought he had a pretty good game. So did the coach. He bumped him up. Howard's going to start tomorrow with McDavid and Mangiapane. Savoy's going to play with Podkolzin and Draisaitl. Meanwhile, Adam Henrique's going to play on the wing with Nugent-Hopkins and Roslovic. Then Philp will play with Tomasic and Frederick. And man, Noah Philp, Trent Frederick, both need to look in the mirror and be like, I need to play physical. Okay, they have to. Noah Philp's not up here to score goals. Hit someone. Trent Frederick, hit someone. He's got to get engaged. Needs to. He knows it. Coach knows it. You play him and Philp together. If I'm Trent Frederick, I go into Seattle and I'm trying to find a fight. See if that can get some energy in my game. Because that's part when his game's on, he's rambunctious. Hasn't been rambunctious all season. Get in a scrum. Do something. Get mad. Don't just think you're going to score your way out of it. It's not his player. But Noah Philp twice last night on a forecheck. He's forechecking in. He's got a guy lined up. Slows down, touches him. And I'm like, what is going on? You're trying to make the NHL, son. You're trying to stay in the NHL. You got to play with a little bit more urgency because everybody's different. Howard's not going to run guys through the boards. Never has been. It's not his game. He's got to make plays, skate fast. Same with Savoy. Good. So, Philp, play your game. Frederick, play your game. They got to be better there. It's no question. Leon Draisaitl, he's got to be way better. I know he's got 5 goals in 8 games, which is awesome. But last night, him and McDavid, I love what the coach said after the game. They haven't been as forceful as I would expect. You don't hear him, and it's bang on. Those guys 5-on-5 together have done a whole lot of nothing this year, which is very odd because usually when those two play together, 5-on-5, no one actually for the last 3 years has scored at a better rate with a line mate than McDavid and Draisaitl 5-on-5. They've been dynamic, but not this year. It hasn't worked for whatever reason. And so they finally separate them because they played 87 minutes together. And they both scored the opposition 2-1. Like, it hasn't been bad, but it hasn't been dominant by any stretch of the imagination. Draisaitl in 39 minutes away from McDavid has outscored the opponents 2-1. So I look at, Draisaitl, he's got to get his game up to par. It's not where it wants to be. And we can say Matthias Ekholm. We go down the list. I mentioned Nurse, Bouchard, lots of guys. But the Oilers are still somehow 4-3-1. That's why they're not going to go crazy, I wouldn't think, and be that frustrated at all. They're 4-3-1. Think about it. They go into Seattle where they always seem to win. The Oilers have dominated Seattle. I think they're 10-2 since Seattle came in the NHL. Collins, you can look that up, but I think they're 10-2. And they scored a lot of goals. Now, Seattle's off to a decent start, 4-2-2, which means they've won half their games, 4-2-2. But you go into Seattle, and then you go into Vancouver. What if you win both? Now the Oilers are suddenly 6-3-1 to start the season. It's not terrible. It's not remotely terrible. It's actually pretty good. You're 6-3-1 in every 10-game stretch of the season. You're a 48-win team, minimum. Right? That's a pretty good year. Right? That's 104 points, and you still have 202 other games to play. So 6-3-1 is a pretty good start. So the Oilers have not played great yet, but they've found ways to win. And last night was an ugly game in a lot of facets. It was entertaining. I love the crowd, the competing chants. It was, go Oilers, go Habs. It was awesome. The building was loud at multiple times in the rink. That's great. I think that adds to the energy in the building for sure. And didn't add to the crispness of the game, but there was a little bit of sloppy play. But I don't mind that. Like, my God, there's 82 games. I'd rather have an entertaining game where both teams are a little sloppy than this, really kind of boring game. Nothing happens. Teams are skating up and down the ice. There's no hits. No thanks. I'd rather take last night. It had 11 goals. Some were pretty, some weren't. That Cole Caulfield first goal, was a hell of a goal. It was nice. So Oilers get a win, and now they have a chance to actually get out of the first 10 with a pretty, I guess at worst, they're going to be 4-5-1. That's at worst. They could be 5-4-1. It could be 5-3-2. Heck, I guess they could lose both and be 4-3-3 if they lose both in overtime. Or they can win both and be 6-3-1. So lots of options. The worst case scenario is 4-5-1, which obviously isn't great, but isn't horrific by any stretch of the imagination. So, Cons, anything stand out to you last night?
Well, just with what you're talking about, 12-3 versus the Kraken. But before losing the last game against them last season, they had won 9 in a row. So, like you said, yeah, they do play very well when it's up against the Kraken, with the exception of last season's 6-1 loss towards the end of the season. Didn't seem to hinder them that much. But, yeah, I mean, like you said, entertainment-wise, that was outstanding. Way better than the football game I was switching back and forth between, which was just a blowout. But, yeah, the back and forth, I mean, there's some discouraging things, I guess, the quick goals in repetition against your team, but having the backbone to bounce back and find a way to dig deep and get the job done. I know the Montreal fans won't like it. They never do, and the power plays go against them, but good on the Oilers for seeing the opportunity, capitalizing, and just was honestly Gregor thrilled for Vasily Podkolzin to get that goal at the end of the game, close to the net by the blue paint. And then, all that he's gone through was awesome. So for the fans that were there, thoroughly entertained, enjoyable, and maybe not so much for the Habs fans, but that's okay.
Greg's, what was Craig Button taking shot after shot on the Oilers last night? Well, it was a Montreal broadcast. I have no idea. I didn't watch it. I was at the rink, so I can't comment on what he said. You must have watched it on, I'm guessing, on the NHL Network, because TSN, when they're doing a Montreal game in Edmonton, it's blocked out in Edmonton. So I can't comment on what he said. He's the broadcast. If you're watching the Montreal broadcast, you got to remember it's a Montreal broadcast. Just like when it's an Edmonton broadcast, and they take shots. If they do, usually it's probably going to be at the other team. So I wouldn't stress out too much about it. That they're not calling the game for Oilers fans. They're calling it for Montreal fans. That's just how it goes. So And Gregor, isn't 4-3-1 the best start in a couple of seasons? Well, last year the Oilers they started 0-3-1 and then they finished out 4-5-1 is what they finished. So 4-3 to me. What are we going to go 8? Like I like to go to 10 games. So when we get to 10 games, we'll look at what the record is. They got a chance to if they split, then they're 5-4-1, which is obviously better than the last 2 seasons. But like that's not, like I said, that's like, hey, I got the most follicles at a bald convention. It's not like a great thing it's not a flex, right? Hey, we're 500. It's not the flex I think they're looking for. They have a standard. They want a good start. I don't think they would view 5-4-1 as a great start. It'd be okay. It's like a 55-point percentage, right? It's just okay. Nothing to write home about. But you win both. Now you're 6-3-1, and you're 6-3-1 despite really haven't played great yet. That could be a good thing. Coming up on the show today, Michael Duarte will join us. We'll talk Dodgers and Jays. Lorianne Munzer will be by with another edition of In the Mind. We got Brett Festerling will join us. What about the Kraken? They've scored some goals early on this season, so we'll get to that. We got Craig Button from TSN, Spec, Low Tide, Cam Tait, and the 2-minute warning. Also, we'll talk a little NFL, big weekend. Connor is still buzzing, as he told us before he came in. That is the least stressed Chargers game he might have ever watched in his life. That game was in control. You know what? There's never kicker missing a field goal or an extra point, which seems to happen. And Cons, if I'm not mistaken, no injuries for your team, which is always a big one. Correct? No major injuries last night?
Derwin James, Tar Heap still. There's a few. Yeah.
Derwin James got hurt?
Yeah, he left the game in a walking boot.
Oh, really? I didn't say that.
10 days off, so
okay.
There's time,
Yeah, well, you could leave in a walking boot and just out of precautionary because they don't want you to put weight on it, right?
I sure hope so.
No.
Yeah. Apparently, it's not as serious as originally thought. So relatively healthy. I think Trey Pipkins played like 2 snaps. Other than that, though, nothing too bad.
All right. This just coming down. A.J. Brown out this Sunday for all of you fantasy footballers. Will not play against the Giants, so adjust your roster accordingly. We'll take a quick break. We'll return, and it is Positive Friday. We got baseball playoffs. We're going to get some thoughts on the orders and more. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Edmonton Elks Spectacular is back, presented by Goodwill. October 24th versus the Calgary Stampeders, featuring pumpkin carving contest and more. Plus, we're collecting donations supporting Edmonton Women's Shelter Win House. Tickets at GoElks.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of CanTorque. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at CanTorque.com.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hi, I'm Al Hamilton, first captain of the Edmonton Oilers. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men, and here in Alberta, we're fighting back. This November, every dollar you give helps the Prostate Cancer Center fund early detection, testing, and life-saving support right here in our province. Let's keep it in Alberta for our fathers, brothers, husbands, and friends. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your men's health fundraiser or donate today. Together, we can look after the men in our community. Thank you for your support.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the 2 best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Backed by popular demand, Folsom Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium November 22nd. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
When you get into a new Tundra, you might find yourself hauling ATVs into the great outdoors, even if your last outdoor experience was a backyard barbecue. Because with this much towing capability, fun, it's a serious upgrade. All that's left to do is drive it home. Get in and go right now at Toyota, where you can lease a 2025 Tundra 4x4 double cab SR5 from $145 weekly for 64 months at 4.39% with $7,999 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
If you're looking for nonstop sports coverage, tune into Sports 1440, Edmonton's only sports radio station.
24/7 coverage comes at you with expert commentary, in-depth analysis,
and so much more.
We are Sports 1440.
First of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.223, welcome back. Positive Friday, and man, what a game it is tonight. For many of you, you've never seen a game like this before. 32 years since the Blue Jays have been in the World Series. So, and if you 32-year under, heck, if you're probably 37 or under, you probably weren't watching when you were 5. So maybe even 40-year-old and under, you're like, man, this will be great. If you like baseball, should be fun. Even if you don't like baseball, people get caught up in playoffs, as you should. It's a lot of fun. And as the Jays and the Dodgers, game 1 tonight from Toronto, as Schnell versus Savage on the mound. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And tonight, you can get the Lotto Max $30 million. Get your tickets, PlayAlberta.ca. As we get to our MLB report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at LegacyHeating.ca. As Michael Duarte from NBC Sports in Los Angeles joins us. Michael, how you doing?
Guys, I'm good. I am sitting on top of CN Tower. I'm like Drake on the cover of his album Views right now, talking to you, getting ready to talk World Series. I love it.
Nice. Was that your first time up the tower?
It is my first time at the tower. My second time in Toronto, but first time up at the top of the tower, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've seen lots of people who try to walk over the glass when you look down below. And like I've seen people fall over, they can't do it. Did you do the walk over the glass? How'd you handle it?
I just did it. I didn't fall over, but I did see Final Destination last year when it came out around this time. And I don't know if you've seen the beginning of that movie. The opening sequence is in a giant tower with a glass floor like that, and everyone dancing, and the glass crashes and falls apart. So that was going through my head as I was walking across that glass. I'll admit that.
So there was no dancing. You were just strolling across it.
Yeah. I was taking a nice stroll, looking down. Yeah, trying to keep my balance and equilibrium right.
Yeah. Now let's look at this matchup. It's a great matchup. Obviously, the Dodgers are the favorite, but they got unreal pitching. They strike out a lot of batters, whereas the Jays, no one strikes out less than the Toronto Blue Jays. When you look at, let's start with Blake Schnell, and just like he's been unbelievable for the Dodgers thus far. What has made him so dangerous in the playoffs?
He's got a chip on his shoulder, guys. This is a guy who was told back when he pitched with the Tampa Bay Rays in the World Series against the Dodgers in 2020. And obviously he was pulled from that infamous Game 6 by Kevin Cash, his manager. Really upset about that because he was just throwing an absolute gem that game. And he told me his goal this postseason was, to play in the big games. That's why he signed with the Dodgers in the offseason. He wanted to pitch in the playoffs and he wanted to have success. And not just that, but go deep in games. He told me his goal was to still be on the mound when they sang God Bless America in the postseason. He was happy he was able to do that when he threw 8 innings faced the minimum, all 24 in the game one of the NLCS against the Brewers, and he wants to do it again in the World Series on the biggest stage. He wants to go deep. And if he has a chance to throw a complete game, I'm telling you, he's going to tell Dave Roberts he wants to do it. And he's just been absolutely sensational this postseason, only allowed one run, and that was in the wild card game against the Reds. So he's been dominant. And to your guys' point, this matchup is like the immovable object meets the unstoppable force. The team with the most runs in the postseason, the most contact, Vladimir Guerrero with like the best average, one of the best postseasons as far as the hitter's concerned we've ever seen, against arguably the most dominant pitching staff. We call them the four aces here in Los Angeles if you're a poker player, that we've seen in the playoffs. So the Dodgers, they strike out a lot of guys. They shut down a lot of hot offenses, and Toronto is definitely the hottest offense still going.
What about Ohtani? Like, he had the amazing 3-home run game, but he's only hitting .220 in the playoffs despite that monster game. What was happening with him at the plate up until that point?
Yeah, great question. And it's one that, is $1 million answer we all want to figure out. We have some ideas. I'll give you my speculation and best guess. But up until he had a great wild card against the Reds, and then all of a sudden he struggled in the DS against the Phillies. Now, part of that was the Phillies have some nasty pitching and some left-handers with some low arm angles and Sanchez and Luzardo. And so he was facing some tough pitching matchups, but it carried over into Milwaukee in the CS. And it wasn't until he got back to Dodger Stadium before he started as a pitcher in Game 4, he decided to take batting practice on the field for the very first time all year. This guy is always hiding during batting practice for the Dodgers. He likes to do his work down in the hitting machine in the cage, and the Dodgers have this very expensive simulated pitching machine that throws velocity. It throws curveballs, sliders, sinkers, and they can even match arm angles from the opponent's pitching that they want to face. And so Ohtani does most of his work down there in that area. And sometimes when you do that, even though it's a little more productive because you're seeing, something similar to what you might see in the game, for someone like Shohei Ohtani, he might have just been too much in his head, if that makes sense, thinking too much, thinking about where the ball is going to go and the movement of the pitches. And when we saw him at the plate during those struggles, it looked like he was a little lost. It looked like he was guessing at pitches and was fooled a lot. Suddenly in that Game 4, after hitting batting practice on the field, he kind of played more free, right? Where you're just reacting to what's being thrown at you rather than trying to think too much. And I think that's what we saw in that Game 4. And if there's any indication, he took batting practice yesterday ahead of Game 1. Maybe it'll carry over for the World Series.
When he does struggle, which is rare, are there certain pitches? Are there certain areas where teams have had success pitching him?
Yeah, if you pitch him in on his hands, especially from a lefty where it's hard to see the ball for a left-handed hitter out of the hand, and if you throw it inside to him, it's hard for him to turn around quickly. This is a guy that if you throw it on the other side of the plate, low and away from him, if he can reach and get contact at the ball, as he kind of showed when he kind of flailed on that swing when he hit a leadoff triple against the Phillies in Game 4 of the DS series, he can still get to things, and he has the power to go oppo if you throw away from him. So the success with some low arm angles from the left-hand side inside at his hands, he's not able to turn on that ball, and he gets fooled a lot. And sometimes if you throw it high enough, he'll swing at it and he can't stay away from those pitches. So really Shohei's at his best when he's very disciplined and not swinging at balls. And when he was struggling, he was swinging at balls all over the place.
Okay. Mookie Betts, it is rare to see someone go from being an all-star right fielder to say, hey, you're going to play shortstop now. Like, that is a massive change. And he's like, I look at his defensive numbers. He's like the 92nd percentile. Like, he's easy is probably unfair, but man, he's made that transition look smooth. Why did they come up with that plan?
It was a plan that kind of was not necessarily something that was predetermined, I guess is the best way to, it was kind of thrust upon the Dodgers based on injuries. So obviously they lost Corey Seager. He's the last player we know to win 2 World Series MVP with the Dodgers and with the Rangers. Obviously dominant with the Dodgers in the World Series in 2020. And so he left in free agency to sign with the Rangers. And then, hold on one second. And he left to go sign with the Rangers in free agency. And so then Gavin Lux was supposed to be the incumbent shortstop for the Dodgers and take over that position. Unfortunately, he tears his ACL and they don't have a shortstop. So Mookie is the one who says, I'll go play shortstop. And of course, the Dodgers are like, have you ever played shortstop? And he's like, not since high school. And they were like, sure, let's go try this experiment. And that worked up until they needed to find a place for Miguel Rojas. They went and signed Tommy Edman and traded for him last year at the deadline, and he plays short and center and second. And so they needed Mookie to move back out to right field just because they needed an outfielder. Well, they signed Teoscar Hernandez. They signed Michael Conforto, who's not in the roster, but they need to find a place for Kike Hernandez to play. Left field has been that position for him during this postseason run. And so Mookie this season again offered to take over shortstop full time. This time he worked on something very interesting. If you look at his numbers from last year to this year, he had a lot of errors last year, and most of them were throwing errors. He worked on his arm angle as far as how he's going to throw the ball from short to second and short to first. That one change, working on the arm angle, made him lead the league in defensive run saved this year. He's a Gold Glove finalist at the position. And like you said, it's just something you don't see, but just shows the kind of athlete Mookie Betts is.
Yeah, no, it's pretty darn impressive, no question. You look at this matchup. How do you expect the Dodgers to approach Vladdy Guerrero? Are they going to now? Their pitchers are pretty confident. Like, are they going to pitch to him? Do you think they're going to try to nibble on the edges? They're going to walk him? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think they're going to pitch to him. If you look at what they did in that series, I think it was like middle of August when the Blue Jays came to Dodger Stadium, and the Dodgers were maybe one inning away, one Blake Treinen 8th inning bullpen implosion away from sweeping that series. Vladdy didn't have a lot of success until he homered off Treinen in the 8th inning of that third and final game on a Sunday day game at Dodger Stadium. And Treinen has just struggled all year, for being honest, and especially in August and September. So I think they're going to try to attack him similarly as they did, especially with their starting pitchers. But if you look at the moves they made on this World Series roster that came out this morning around 10 a.m. Eastern time here in Toronto, they decided to leave off Tanner Scott, who might have been eligible to come back. Alex Vesey is dealing with a personal problem with him and his wife, a family emergency. He's not even in Toronto. He was off the roster. And they put on two hard-throwing righties, and Edgardo Enriquez and Will Klein out of the bullpen. Enriquez, by the way, can throw 103.3 miles per hour. He has the fastest pitch thrown this year by a Dodgers pitcher, Shohei Ohtani, right below him. And then Will Klein also throws over 100. That tells me, for that string of righties that the Blue Jays have, that they might want to look to those guys for a kind of quick matchup against that righty row where they're going to throw velocity at him, maybe high up, maybe inside, as we were just talking about, as a way to attack Ohtani. And I think that's how you're going to see him attack Vladito and the other righties like Springer, for example.
Well, yeah, it's interesting to see Springer. We don't know yet if we're going to see. I haven't seen it yet if Bo Bichette's playing today or not, but it'll be. When he did play, the guy
starting at second base.
Did they put it out there? Stayed at second.
Yeah.
Okay,
and he's hitting cleanup. Yep, and hitting cleanup too.
Well, I'd expect him to hit cleanup. That doesn't surprise me because he led the league in hits, and he finished third despite missing the last 25 or 28 games or whatever the number was. Like, he can hit. Now he hasn't played in a month, but he adds a lot of depth to a lineup. Like, Milwaukee was the best regular season team, but they just couldn't hit the Dodgers, right? The Jays have been proven that they can extend, even if they don't get a hit, they'll get 7-8 pitches and a lot of at bats and try to stretch out guys. How do you see Schnell and the pitching staff? How do they fare against a team? And maybe it's hard to say that there's a team similar to the Jays at the plate.
Yeah, it's a great question. So the Dodgers starting pitching and their whole staff, but we're just going to look at the starting pitching because those were the guys that went deep throughout the playoffs. They have almost a 40% whiff rate. It's the highest in any pitching staff right now still in the postseason. And so you're right. It gets a team that doesn't strike out a lot and hits a lot of contact and sees a lot of pitches in the Blue Jays. Now, you mentioned the Brewers, and I just want to point out, as we went into that series in the NLCS, I did a deep dive on the Brewers. They were also a team that doesn't strike out, that puts the ball in play, that makes contact. And then once they get on, they're aggressive. They steal bases. They bunt. They do small ball. They run on you. But when you have a dominant starting pitcher, as we saw with Blake Snell in Game 1 and then Yamamoto in Game 2, Glasnow in 3, Ohtani in 4, it completely neutralized that. And after the game, I was talking to Clayton Kershaw, who, guys, this World Series is his last ride, right? He's riding off into the sunset, a la Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. He told me, great starting pitching begets and beats better offense and hitting. And that might be the case. Look, this is what I said. This matchup is great because it's the best offense in the Blue Jays right now, the best lineup against the best pitching staff. And if you ask Kershaw anyways, he thinks it's the pitching that will beat the hitting.
What about the defense? How would you rank the Dodgers defense? The Jays got they got a lot of guys, the Gold Glovers at different positions. How do you rank the Dodgers overall defensively?
Overall defensively, they're very good. A lot of guys who are Gold Glove finalists on this team. One guy in Miguel Rojas, who's a utility Gold Glove finalist. He's not even starting today, and he's probably only going to start against left-handed pitching in this series, so we might not even see him a lot. But they have two weaknesses in the outfield, guys, where they were the worst at that position in the major leagues this year. That's in right field with Teoscar Hernandez, who's already had a couple errors and misplays in the outfield during this postseason for the Dodgers, and also in center field with Andy Pages. These are guys, if you watch the Dodgers postseason run, Dave Roberts puts defensive substitutions in for them late in the games. Once they've had what he believes to have their final at bat, whether that comes in the 7th, 8th, or 9th, he takes them out for a defensive replacement. So if you're the Blue Jays, if you can hit the ball out to right field or center or in the gap somewhere, you might be able to get an extra base or two out of it, because those are guys in those positions anyway, where misplays can happen, where errors can happen, and where you can exploit that if you're looking at weaknesses on the Dodgers defense.
Do you expect Kershaw, he mentioned he feels they're confident. Is he going to be involved in, I didn't even look, is he on their 26-man roster?
He is on the roster, and I hope we do get a chance to see him, but I don't expect to see him in leverage at all. They tried to use him in a close game in Game 3 of the DS against the Phillies, and he gave up 3 runs. They just crushed him. And they tried to use him for multi-innings. He got out of a jam the first inning, and then the second inning he got into some trouble. So I think Kershaw's going to be more mop-up duty. If this is a game that's a blowout either way, maybe the Blue Jays have a 4, 5, 6-run lead, I think you bring Kershaw out to eat up innings. And if you're beating the Blue Jays 10-0 in the 4th or 5th inning or something, and you want to pull that starter easy and rest him, maybe for his next start in the series, if that's possible, maybe you see Kershaw in that sense coming out in a Dodgers blowout late in the game. And that's honestly, if I'm just looking at this purely from the lens of what would be best to see Kershaw kind of ride out in, that's where I'd like to see him, on the mound with the Dodgers leading big, and a chance to kind of go off in the sunset victorious.
Michael, one last one that's totally not related to the World Series itself. We saw the huge investigation that's going on in the NBA right now, 34 arrests. And, there's lots of people saying, oh, Shohei Ohtani did the same thing. Where do you come out on that? Obviously they say, hey, his interpreter was the one who did it all. Is that investigation pretty close, or do you think MLB is going to have to be more leery, like all the teams, based on how in depth this was in the NBA, that MLB might have to do something more in the offseason to ensure that their league doesn't fall into the same category next season as the NBA is right now?
Yeah, and we already saw some things early in the season. There were some players in baseball who were being investigated for betting on sports. And I think what happens when you legalize sports gambling in, I know it's individual states, and it's actually ironically still not legalized in California where we are. But once you legalize it, once you open it up, these are going to be the negatives that come from this, right? It's billions of dollars in industry. That's why they're legalizing it. That's why you see MLB partnering with DraftKings and Caesar Sportsbooks, and you see all these commercials out there. But now you're seeing people trying to exploit it, people betting on their own sport. We're going back to the Pete Rose era at times, it seems like. And it's not just exclusive to the NBA or exclusive to Major League Baseball. For me, it's across all sports, and that can be anything, even F1 racing, for example, which I know is in the news because they just signed a deal with Apple. So I think this is going to be a problem that's not going to go away anytime soon. As far as the Ohtani investigation, that is closed. We at NBC were able to interview the bookie, Matthew Boyden, who lived out in Newport Beach in a mansion, about what happened and how he was able to kind of lure in Ipe Mizuhara, his interpreter. And it just seems like Ipe was a very bad gambler who had the ultimate line of credit because he was using Shohei Ohtani's money from his Angels days, from his contract and payouts from the Angels, and was able to just use that to get into huge gambling debt. So I think Ohtani's in the clear, and that investigation is closed. But as far as what we're seeing with the NBA, which, guys, it's something like out of the TV show Sopranos, right? Illegal poker games where people are cheating and you're luring NBA players and coaches like Chauncey Billups to come out and, play with these high rollers, and then you're cheating them out of their money. This reminds me of Tony Soprano at his highest. So I don't think we're going to see the end of it anytime soon. I think it's going to be an ongoing problem that all sports are going to be having to deal with.
Awesome stuff, man. Enjoy the game and enjoy the series. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys. And like Drake says, right, I think we're going to see the Dodgers go back to back. See you guys.
All right, there's Michael Duarte from NBC in Los Angeles, currently in Toronto. So the Blue Jays lineup has been announced, and not really any surprises when you consider they got a lefty on the mound for the Dodgers. They're going to have George Springer DHing, batting leadoff. Schneider's going to play in left field. Guerrero Jr., first base. Bichette playing second base, hitting cleanup. Kirk, then Varsho, Clement at third. Straws in right field, and Jimenez playing shortstop. Obviously, Trey Yesavage is on the mound tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays, and it should be hey man, should be a fantastic series. I like it would if the Jays can get some runs early on Schnell, which is way easier said than done. But man, that building's going to go crazy, and I just think it will. They got to get some hits early on, right? Like I'm not expecting them to score 6-7 runs or anything like that, but just get going. The Dodgers, like, look at their ERA, like it's ridiculous, right? They've given up 10 runs, Cons? Like basically it's 1 run a game, but because a lot of those games were at home, their ERAs, it's even better. So it's ridiculous. So they've been I think their official ERA is 1.4, if I'm not mistaken. So they've been pretty good so far. The reason it's higher is because some games they didn't pitch the full 9 innings, right? So that's a big advantage for them. So we'll see.
Yeah, they got 4 runs last series.
Yeah, the whole series.
Yeah. Again, Cincinnati was a bit of a, overhit a lot, but yeah, they've really cleaned it up.
Yeah, so Schnell hasn't been hit hard yet in the playoffs, but that doesn't mean it can't be. That's what's great about it, right? We've seen it in any sport. Oh, look at this defense in football. They've been great. And all of a sudden they get torched, right? It happens, right? Like, look at the Stanley Cup Finals a few years ago for Edmonton and Florida. They're down 3-0. Couldn't score to save their life. Then all of a sudden they're pumping in goals like no tomorrow for the Oilers. Anything can happen, and that's why you watch the game. So I'm hoping we get some runs, a few lead changes. Lead changes are the great part of sports. It gets you the emotional roller coaster. That's what lead change. Like, look at last night. Last night's a regular season game, and some of you are probably aged 2 years watching that game. We'll come back. We will talk about the championship mentality of a player. And while, you know what? Hey, it's one thing to be in a quarterfinals, and then you're in the semifinal, but the final's just different because you're that much closer to the championship or the medal. We'll discuss it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for zombie hunters. Those who know their old decrepit furnace passed away years ago. It's decaying husk shuffling around now as the furnace. Legacy Heating will send your undead furnace to its grave, replacing it with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Protect your legacy from the beast in the basement. It's time to destroy the furnace of the dead. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
When pumpkins glow and night turns chill, there's one fall treat that fits the bill. A pizza shaped like a jack-o'-lantern with smiling pepperoni pattern. Thin golden crust, so cheesy and tasty. Get yours now, better be hasty. It's only around for a limited time for a spooktacular price, $17.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, yes, it's true. Papa John's Jack-o'-lantern Pizza is coming for you. Spookily and proudly locally owned and operated.
Attention! It's Edmonton Oil Kings Military Appreciation Night at Rogers Place.
Sunday, it's the Battle of Alberta WHL style as Edmonton faces the Calgary Hitmen.
Get there early for a pre-game ceremony and check out the military vehicles on display on the plaza and in the concourse.
And at every home game, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is king-sized.
Oil Kings Hitmen Military Appreciation Night, Sunday at 4.
Great family entertainment at Rogers Place starts at just $20 a seat. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal? Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play score and win every game. See more at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2.49. Welcome back, Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening and watching, as always. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Lots of options. Get in the World Series. You like the Jays? They got better odds. More fun. PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time to go in the mind, brought to you by Action Electrical. 53 years. Great local company. Does tons in the community. And they are looking for second, third, and fourth year electricians. So, if you got the goods and you want to work for a great company, send your resume to careers@actionelectrical.net. As we welcome back to the studio, Olympic gold medalist Lori Ann Munzer, also a mental coach. And Lori Ann, I mentioned it before the break. Like, yeah, you're in the quarterfinals, you're in a semifinal. The final's just different. Like you've lived it, you know it. It's hard to explain, and we'll always tell, oh, just calm down. Oh, it's just another game. Oh, it's just another race. Easy to say, harder to do.
Oh yeah, it's not just another game. It's not just another race. There is an energy that will either tip you over to one side or it's going to elevate you. And the interesting part is watching how each athlete is so different and what they do to stay in the zone, keep in the zone. If they get out of the zone, it's what do you need to do? Because there's an energy quarterfinals, semifinals. And then when you're in it, it becomes real because it's like, this is do or die. And either we're going to make it a go or we're going to blow up, and it's going to be one or the other.
Well, and it is I love that what you said. Every athlete's different, because we can't sit here and say, we'll do this, because it's not whatever works for Paul is not going to work for Rob, or it's not going to work for Sarah. It's just everybody's different. You have to learn and find it. And the truth of the matter is, when you go through it the first time, you don't really know how you're going to react.
And that's the interesting part, because I see that over and over and over again. I know I experienced it when I was racing. If you don't think about or do a dry run of, well, here's where it could go south, or here's where it could go good, or what are you going to do bottom of the ninth, and you're up to bat and everything's resting on you, or you're pitching it. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? And this is where in preparation and part of this, Jason, is to go through create those crazy scenarios of do or die. What are you going to do in the crunch? Because if you've never experienced it, you're going to do your best. Trust me, you really are going to do your best, but it's going to be more in a survival mode than, oh, I've been here before, because the mind is looking for targets of, oh, this is familiar. I've been here. I've done this before. And that's why in practice and training, you're always doing those drills so that it becomes familiar and that you're not caught like unguarded or by surprise.
I know you'd mentioned, like, you go through it the first time, like the Jays, obviously, their organization hasn't, had a ton of playoff success. Lots of their players. Now, Vladdy Guerrero, it's funny, like he had a terrible final few weeks of the season in September. And then they had a break and boom, he came out and he's, been crushing it, hitting. Even Varsho in the series, the first 5 games wasn't very good. and he worked with his hitting coach and came up in game 6 and 7, had way better swings, came up with some big hits. And now, you probably go in with more confidence automatically. What about a player though, like Bo Bichette, who's been out that long? Now, Bo Bichette was leading the league in hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hitting cleanup. He was doing a lot. He's playing very well. Now he's playing second base. And is it going to be that much different? Maybe a bit. There's less range to cover defensively, right? It's a shorter throw. So there's some subtle differences. But when the ball's rolling to you, like, his technique to pick up the ball doesn't change, whether it's at shortstop or second base. So we'll see how much it is. But it's more so the, coming back from an injury into the World Series. Now, baseball is different than hockey or football because it's not like you have to worry about contact from anyone else, right? Like, I guess if someone slides into him breaking up a double play, that's the one thing. But how do you feel like when you had to come back after an injury, what's the hardest thing to overcome?
Your mind. It's the doubt of going, can I do this? Can I not do this? And you got to squish it out. You've got to have been doing the mental work. You've had to have been doing the physical preparation literally, and just go, well, am I going to be here and play and show up? Because Jason, it becomes the little things. It's the little things that are going to make the difference. And for you to, blast it far forward and first time being off and coming back into a game, you got to show up as if you've never been off before. So I know that he's been going over and over and over and over in that, so that there really isn't the time. Your mind doesn't know the difference. It does know the difference if you're on that other side of going, I doubt if I can do this. I'm starting to worry. Is you got to be right on top the whole time. And you got to come in as if there's been no time lost.
Well, which is easier said than done again.
It is, but it's practice. So how long has he been off?
Over a month, 6 weeks.
Okay. So, I mean, that's all the time
7
to do the
weeks,
replay.
actually. Yeah.
He's going to be in the room. He's going to be doing the, what do you call it? I'm thinking dissertations where they go through, okay, well, what worked? How are we going to do it? How are we going to fix the situation? And come back to playing where you know that you are at your best. And you actually can come back. It takes a lot of guts, it takes a lot of work, and it takes an awful lot of focus. And that's where I see a lot of athletes where they lose the game. And I've even done it too when I wasn't practiced as much. But when you bring it out and you've been doing it and that it's a habit, it becomes automatic. Then it's like you have lost literally no time.
The mental preparation for all the sports is something we talk about a lot. And you can only prepare yourself so many different ways at different times, right? And you've talked a lot about how it becomes repetitious. We got a few texts coming in about, learning when it's repetition, because for some people, they're like even now, some athletes have a sports psychologist, some don't have a sports psychologist. Mm-hmm. So are we still in a stage where we don't really know what works for each individual athlete?
I think we do know what it works. The question is, does the athlete work it? Okay. Because you can either work it or not. You can play bluff and go, okay, I'm going to be fine. I get in the situation, in the race, in the game, in the event, and then you crap out and it's just, you choke. So it's that practice. And some athletes are better naturally at it. Some have to really work at it. Some have to spend more time visualizing, preparing. Others maybe only need a couple of minutes once a week, once a day, or a couple of times during the week. And everybody is so different that you really have to have that connection as part of the team, the coaching staff, of going, so what is it that you need? And really helping that athlete be on, noticing when they're starting to get off track, and then bring them back, because there's going to be certain cues, things that they say, things that you will say that will snap them out of it.
Lorianne Munzer joins us, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Looking to the Oiler game, they had a lot of players. You win the game, and hey, we're happy we won. And you'd much rather learn lessons in a win than learn lessons in a loss. That's just human nature. Their offense has really been struggling, but they did score 6 goals. Their power play came up huge in the third period. They scored 4 goals, 5-on-5. A few more guys scored their first goal of the season. And yes, there was lots of plays in that game. They were like, oh my goodness. As Nugent Hopkins said, we had a lead and then we stopped playing. Nugent Hopkins had something interesting. He said, it wasn't up to our standard. Now, every game is not going to be up to your standard. Every race is not going to be up to your standard. It's impossible because no one wins every time. and sometimes you play well and you lose, and sometimes you play poorly and you win. But when a team says, you know what, we're not really jiving, you're not really like, how do you come out of that? Do you work at it as a team, or is it better, do you think, individually?
Oh, you got to work it out as a team. You're an individual, so you're a contributor. But the question is, can you elevate the team? And sometimes, Jason, it's not about getting on the ice. It's about doing something off the ice to get everybody connected or reconnected again. And it is simple as going and playing, having fun, whatever that is, whether it's, music, whether it's food, whether it's going to sound silly, doing a cooking course where you got to work together. And part of that is, number one, taking the mind off of the game, distraction therapy, and just doing something totally different, something, not hockey related. Sometimes it could even be going out for a hike. And it's those little changes that can really make all the difference. And sometimes when you're so focused, we got to win, that it ends up upsetting the cart, and you don't play to your standard. You don't play to the level that you know that you can. And it's like everything you try doesn't work.
Yeah. It is unique. Give me your thoughts on, if you were an athlete going into the World Series and you came in as a, quote, the underdog. And because I'm sure you've raced in races where you're the underdog before. Yep. How's the battle of, like, and sometimes maybe you raced early in your career where you knew your opponent was better than you at that point. How do you play mind tricks to convince yourself you're worthy of beating them?
You don't convince yourself, you be it. You don't, because if you're having to convince yourself, you're done. And I can tell you that probably 9 out of 10 times you're not going to be able to do it. Is you have to show up and go, I don't care who I'm competing against. I'm going to eat you up. I'm going to spit you out, and I will do it over and over and over again. I will die trying. And I have literally been in those situations at the start of my career. And it's those surprises, Jason, that you pull out something inside of you that you didn't even know was there, whether it was like an extra sprint or an extra gear or an extra hit. And that's where it gets really interesting, is you start to get this feeling of energized energy. You start thinking of going, what if this is possible? What if I can do this? What is that going to look like? What is that going to feel like? And those are the moments where you don't think about being in the underdog. You think about, I'm already here. I'm worthy of being here. So it's going through that mantra of what works and just creating it and recreating it again and again.
Lorianne, enjoy the World Series.
Absolutely.
And we will chat with you for what hope would be a Game 6 next Friday. Have yourself a good week.
You too. Thanks.
It's Lorianne Munzer in the Mind, brought to you by Action Electrical. We'll take a quick break. We'll get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Loca Quality Market. They got gourmet meals. They've got a butcher. They got a baker. Cafe, deli, rotisserie, pizzeria. Not a candlestick maker, but they got a lot of stuff. Great food that even is in 2 locations, Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Online, loca.ca, and with soon delivery coming.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game 1 of the World Series goes tonight from Toronto as the Jays host the Dodgers. First pitch just after 6. We'll have that for you here on Sports 1440, radio feed only. In the CFL, the Elks season comes to an end as they host the Stamps down at Commonwealth. Kickoff 7:30. You've also got the Ticats and Red Blacks meeting in Hamilton at 5. In the NHL, 4 games on the schedule. Leafs, Sabres, Sharks, Devils, Caps in Columbus, and the Jets host the Flames. In the BCHL, you got the Crusaders hosting Brooks at 7. Spruce Grove in Okotoks tomorrow. 4 games in the AJ, 7 hosting Old and Bonneville in GP. U of A Golden Bears taking on the Dinos down at Claire Drake, while the Pandas meet the Dinos in Calgary. The 2 teams will swap cities tomorrow night at the Saville Center this weekend. You got Bears and Pandas basketball in action. Both teams taking on Mount Royal. The action starts tonight at 6, tomorrow at 5. And for McEwen, their hockey team taking on Trinity Western at the DCA. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Wanye Gretz. Also, former NHL'er and Kraken analyst Brett Festerling. Plus, we'll hear another edition of Cam Tait's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
You'll see us digging holes. No, we're not looking for buried treasure. You'll see us digging trenches as well. And no, we're not building a fort. We're GS Construction, and you'll see us in neighborhoods throughout the Edmonton area. So what are we doing? GS Construction provides rehabilitation and upgrade services to Edmonton and surrounding communities. Some of our underground utilities have served us for years and are past their useful lives. We replace them, so they're around for years to come. Find out more at gsconstruction.ca.
Edmonton Elks Spectacular is back, presented by Goodwill. October 24th versus the Calgary Stampeders, featuring pumpkin carving contest and more. Plus, we're collecting donations supporting Edmonton Women's Shelter Win House. Tickets at goelks.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. I'm super excited to tell you today that we have fed over 250 families so far with our Feed 500 Families event. With that said, we are still short of our goal. We have decided to continue this on through to the end of October. With your help and your support, we can get this done. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440. After every game this season, tune in to Andrew Walker for the post-game show. Let's talk some hockey. Let's talk about the game on Sports 1440.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Did you know the Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated?
Positive Friday. How are
Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud.
223, welcome.
In more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. CanTorque's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at CanTorque.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday continues on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having an awesome Friday. It's Big Friday if you're a baseball fan or even a casual baseball fan. The Jays taking on the LA Dodgers. Also tonight, the final home game for the Edmonton Elks as they wrap up the season, taking on the Calgary Stampeders. We've had a few texts coming in our email inbox, 833-401-1440. And on Trey Ford. Hey, Gregor, why wouldn't the Elks play Trey Ford tonight? From Steve. Well, Steve, I think here's the easiest way I can put it. Actions always speak louder than words, I believe. And so the actions of them not playing Trey Ford tonight tell me two things. One, they don't view him as part of the future. I don't think that I get a sense. I don't think Trey Ford's returning. That would be my, and I haven't talked to anybody about it. But that would be my thought process. Then the other one is, this is something, because I know that the players, the bonuses, and they play a huge factor in football. And if you have a player who gets hurt late in the season, then you know what? You can't release an injured player, and then their bonuses, and then the bonus. Because if you want to release the guy when training camp starts, then your bonus is still against the cap, and that's a big waste of money against your cap. So I'm guessing they don't want to risk injury, because if there's an injury, then you probably can't release him. The fact that they don't want to play him tells me that I don't think Trey Ford's going to be in Edmonton next year. That's what it tells me. I could be wrong, but if I'm reading the tea leaves, why else wouldn't you play him? He's not injured. He's been taking his reps when he gets it in, so he's not injured. That's the only thing I can think of. Cons, where do you come out on it?
Well, I think unfortunately for the Trey Ford supporters, I think that's exactly what it means. If you had any thought of, having him back next year and giving him a look, I feel like you'd give him that opportunity to play tonight. And like I said previously, I wanted to see him out there. I want to see what he's learned. Has he made quicker reads? Can he read defenses a little bit quicker, go through his progressions? They're not even giving that opportunity tonight. So, yeah, I think I am with you on that one. Don't want to risk injury. Probably looks like they're moving on from Trey Ford. And, it's hard to say for sure, Gregor, because we've talked about it a lot. When he was out there, the defense wasn't playing good. The defense improved. They got Cody Fajardo out there. I like what he did. As I said before, I would bring him back either way. Even if you were going to give Trey Ford and have an open competition, I would have signed Kolaris to another year. But yeah, it doesn't look like it. Looks like next year he'll be playing elsewhere.
Yeah. So now, hey, Greg's, if he's playing, why wouldn't they trade him? Well, you always have to have a trading partner, right? And if you trade him, hey, we'll see. Like Ottawa, you have to look at teams and say, okay, which teams would be interested? And then, what's his contract going to be? There's all sorts of factors involved in that. But I would look and say, okay, if I'm going around the league, I wonder Winnipeg, Strevler's not the answer for them moving forward. Kolaros is getting older, so maybe they want a younger backup, right? Maybe they want a young guy to come in. So they'd be an option. I think Ottawa, potentially, but even then, I think they feel they've got their young quarterback for their team, right? So I don't know. I think they like Drew Brown. So I'm a team will take him, no question. Probably the best fit would be BC because they have a Canadian starter. And then if you have a Canadian backup, then you could actually list your Canadian starting quarterback as a Canadian. Because if you have a backup, because let's say you go into the game and you say, okay, we got 7 starters and your quarterback gets hurt. Well, now what do you do? Because you have to play an American at that position if you don't have a good backup who's Canadian. So, yeah, it's obviously, you know what? We haven't seen Trey Ford start of the season. It was okay. I don't think he was as terrible. I think the team wasn't very good. Defensively, they weren't very good. There's lots of factors at play. And I still think Trey Ford can play. I think there's some talk that they'd like to see him, hone his craft a little bit more. But my guess of him not playing tonight tells me he's not going to be here next year. That would be, if I'm reading the tea leaves, that's what I think the tea leaves are saying. Now, again, I don't have a crystal ball, so it's no guarantee, but that would be you asked, that would be my answer. I don't think that Trey Ford will be in Edmonton next season. So we welcome in Wanye Gretz. Wanye, how you doing?
Can't believe that scoop. As the other Elks Nation guy, I am just I heard it here. I was in the room when you said Trey Ford's not coming back.
Yeah, I don't see. I just don't see because if he was, you'd play him.
Sure,
it'd be a no-brainer. You'd play him.
But that's new news. I haven't heard anyone say that before.
Yeah. So,
you following these Blue Jays at all? You look like a Blue Jay. I walked in here. I thought I was at the Blue Jays facility. Everyone in here is, specifically you, are wearing Blue Jays.
Well, I got a Jays jersey on. Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Pumped?
Oh, I enjoy it. I'm just excited. Anytime there's a championship, I watch playoffs in any sport, man. I watch any sport in the playoffs and I get into it. I don't even I don't have to have a team. I like the Jays. I don't love the Jays, right? I've never been that diehard of a fan. I probably, if I would have had to pick, I was probably more of an Expos fan I think like diehard. I like the Jays, right? Like George Bell, Jesse Barfield, Lloyd Moseby, like all of them. Like I remember the Jays, Tony Fernandez, all that stuff, right? Joe Carter. It was great, but it was more fun I would say like I was a casual Jays fan.
If you're doing like your tiering of sports championships, the Oilers winning a Stanley Cup, ice hockey gold, that's up in the top tier. Where do the Jays rank? Like as a Canadian, are you excited?
Well, I'm always excited to like right now. There's a little bit more like I really don't like the representation of the United States right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't like it. So, the fact that it's their pastime, if a Canadian team can take it, that would be funny to me, right? I would root for it.
Do you like them any more than? Like, is there a team you like better in the MLB, or are they your favorite baseball team? And is it equivalent to the Raptors being in the finals for you, or do you like them more or less?
No, I wouldn't say I have I don't have a baseball team.
Okay.
Right. Like I went to the Jays game because my son, that's his team. So you know what? He gets really fired up. So as a parent, that enjoys it for me. But no, I never owned a Jays shirt. We bought a Jays because he's like, Dad, we're going to the game. We got to get a Jays shirt. I'm like, all right. So I got a Jays shirt. So I got Kirk because I thought it was kind of funny. But no, I'm not going to lie to people and pretend like, oh yeah, I'm a diehard Jays fan. This means so much to me. Like, sure, I'd like to see them win. It's fun, right? Like my son cheers for them. So you know what? I kind of through osmosis, I'll cheer for them through him. But no, I don't have another team that I would, root for. Like there's a few teams, like I've always liked the Cincinnati Reds for no specific reason, right? But I don't own any Reds. Like I don't have a hat.
Well,
right?
that's a dangerous hat to wear too.
When you read on the psychology, they say, a sports fan gets a hat. And there's something about the sports fan wearing the hat. Like that's a sign that they're like committed to the team. I don't know if that's every fan, but I remember reading reading a paper on it and had some really good points about how for at a young age, if you can get a fan in a hat, like the chances of them remaining a fan of that team and really kind of living and dying with that team is infinitely higher than if they don't have a hat.
Do you like the Jays more or less than the Raptors?
Probably the same.
Same. Just on a Canadian level.
Yeah. They're kind of the same, right? Like, hey, when the Raptors won, it was fun to watch them, but I don't I like the Raptors when Vince Carter was there. Like Vinsanity was fun, and then obviously the Raptors winning was good, no question. But they kind of had a few year run where they're great, but they've never really been like consistently good. So that's maybe again, like my job. I don't know. I've kind of lost my diehard fandom. I'm not a fan.
I feel like the Jays have done a better job, especially of late, of marketing themselves as Canada's team. Like I feel like the Jays are very popular in Western Canada now, whereas the Raptors are more, if I'm wrong, but the fandom seems to be confined more to the east of the Raptors.
Well, I do. Well, we heard it. There's lots of people out west who like Seattle because it's closer. I get that. But I think there's quite a few people that are diehard Jays fans. Like, the text line when we talk about the Jays here in the last 2 weeks has been infinitely busier than I can remember. Like, obviously, you go back to 2015. And even when the Jays were in the playoffs a few years ago, and I know they didn't win. So it's like anything, the excitement builds the deeper you go into the postseason. But just based on our text line and even on social media, like I put out, hey, this is who I think would be the roster. And there's tons of people commenting on it that would never normally comment on it. So there's definitely interest, and as there should be. Like, why wouldn't you watch it? That would be my question. Like, even if you're not, like, I'm a fan of sports and drama. Like, I love the drama that sports brings. Like, there's the ecstasy of victory and there's a devastation of defeat. And you get to see it. I don't have to feel that raw, which that's the negative part of my job. I don't feel that. Like, if the Oilers ever win the Stanley Cup, I won't feel what Oilers fans feel.
You won't? Not even for one day?
No. Well, because you can't. Like, you can't just turn it on. It's on a switch. Can't fake it like that. I know people don't believe that, and that's okay because they can't. So if somebody can't do something themselves, they don't think other people are capable of it. They're just not. You've known me for this long, yet you still bring it up. I'm like, are you like you're not that obtuse?
You'll smile. I think you'll have like a smile.
Well, I can smile because I see happiness in others on my son's face.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't be me being like, oh my God, my life is complete. But there are fans, as there should be, who if the Oilers win, they will feel like their life is better. Right?
I'll say aloud, now I've seen it all. That's what I'll tell the room. I've thought about it. I'll say, now I've seen it all.
And
can't wait.
Hey, Gregor, do you think they play Trey Ford a different position? No. Not in Edmonton. And unless he has a change of heart, he views himself as a quarterback. And I understand why. Like, that's what he's played his whole life. So, and because he didn't have success right away, I know a lot of people think, well, they're done. Have you guys watched the NFL? Let's go through the list of quarterbacks in the NFL right now. How many years of success did Sam Darnold have in New York? Oh, how about none? Right? How much success? And he had some success early on in Cleveland, but how much better? Like, look at the guys. Look at Baker Mayfield. Like, go around the league of guys who they were in an organization. They didn't have great success early on at a really hard position. And then they move on. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, geez, these guys are they're not superstars. Well, Baker's actually really good this year. But there's other guys like, look at Daniel Jones, right? Heck, I call him, dude, because God, he soiled the sheets in New York. Wasn't very good. But now in Indianapolis, he's got a little bit more experience. He's obviously got maybe a better system around him. He's a pretty good quarterback. So I could see, like, if I'm Trey Ford, why would I give up? Like, I don't know. I just don't think an elite level athlete is wired to give up.
How old is he?
Trey Ford, I think he's 26.
Yeah.
I think maybe 27 now. So he's young.
He'll get another look for the CFL team. There's so few people who can be the QB of a team.
Yeah. And like, he's extremely athletic. And so, like, I always say, go back. Anthony Calvillo leads the CFL in passing yards all time. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Go look at his first 5 years in the league. Nothing to write home about. Threw tons of picks. Wasn't great. And then came to Montreal and it was just like, oh, boom, light came on, had more experience, had more patience, lots of things. Now, Trey Ford's never going to be Calvillo. He's not a pure pocket passer. I get it. But lots of guys became better. We had Warren Moon on the show, who a lot of people think of Warren Moon as like this unbelievable passer. And he's like, man, when I first came into the league, I was more of a runner, right? His own words, not mine. So yeah, like Trey Ford, somebody will give him a chance. But he'll probably have to start as a backup next year. And then he'll be one injury away and he'll see when he comes in. I just don't think it's going to be in Edmonton. I just don't expect it to be. And yeah, that's kind of disappointing because Trey Ford, to me, was an exciting player to watch. Like, Trey Ford could make guys miss that most quarterbacks just can't do. Like, his raw athleticism was pretty good, and his completion percentage was pretty solid, right? His touchdown to interception ratio, pretty solid. And, but for whatever reason, like, I don't know if his work ethic, like, there's something now that he'll have to look at and say, okay, like, what do I got to do better? Because you can always blame it saying it's everybody else's fault. Or at some point you have to look and say, hey, maybe I got to do something different. Not easy, but that's what he has to do. Hey, guys, I started watching baseball last week. I can't stress enough how much I want to take baseball from them. So, see, there you go, right? You get involved, Lance. I understand it. You're just like, man, I've never really been a fan, but there's something about the playoffs that just, I've seen this for fans who aren't football fans. Heck, look in your own household or your neighborhood of people who aren't big hockey fans. But the last 2 years in May and June, they're like, hey, what are we doing for dinner? Where's the watch party? What's happening? I got my hat. I got my T-shirt. I got my pom-poms. They're right into it. Because it's fun to feel part of something. That's what I thought Connor McDavid said it well the other day when he talked about the Jays. He goes, hey, man, I never played baseball, but I have the utmost respect for what they do. But he goes, it just seems like right now they bring people together. And that's what sports ultimately at the end of the day does, right? Like, you watch in other places, fans are chanting, and many of you have hugged strangers. You would never just go hug a random stranger, but, oh, we're cheering for the same team. All right, bro, give me a hug. Like, it's so funny how people will interact with complete strangers where they're like, oh, we cheer for the same team. That's it. And so it brings you together. I like it. Hey, Gregor, why can't the Elks keep Trey? Well, they could, Jordan, but my instincts tell me that if you're keeping Trey Ford and you think he's part of your future, then you're playing him tonight. And it's essentially a meaningless game for the organization, right? Like, they win, awesome. They could give it to Calgary a bit by winning, because then Calgary would lose the potential to have home field advantage in the semifinal, right? So there is something to play for if you want to play the Royalist Spoiler. But at the end of the day, for their organizational's personal gain, there's really nothing there. Maybe a little bit more experience, reps for your players, all that stuff. But so the fact they're not playing him tonight, and not even at the backup, but I was told that he's not even coming in as the number 2, that tells me that they're likely moving on in the offseason. That would be my hunch on that one. Quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand. And go.
Yes.
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think she just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
GMC's 0% event is on now. Get 0% financing on all remaining 2025 GMC models on limited terms, like the 2025 Sierra 1500 Elevation Crew Cab at 0% financing for 84 months. The 2025 Terrain Elevation All-Wheel Drive at 0% financing for 60 months. And the 2025 Canyon at 0% financing for 36 months. No matter what you need, there's a GMC for you. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
When you've just got to get your wings on, bring it on to Game On. Game On is Sherwood Park's new home for game night and good times. Every hump day is Wing Wednesday, and you know you're going to need extra napkins. Get your wings done the way you like with classic or signature sauces, or try them with a dry rub. Just 69 cents each, 25 flavors to choose from. And while you're here for Wing Wednesdays, you can enjoy $4 sleeves of Tilt Lager. So fly the coop and come to Game On. Game On Kitchen, Sports Bar, Arcade, Baseline Road, Sherwood Park.
Looking for an all-season vehicle with room for the hockey gear, comfort for the daily commute, and rugged capability for your weekend adventures? That's the all-new 2025 Jeep Compass, and you'll find it during the biggest sale of the year this month at St. Albert Dodge. Now, what can I say? It's a Jeep. It's a 4x4, and it's loaded with standard features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, keyless entry, and heated front seats, all starting from just $34,900. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
So Friday continues on. Jason Gregor, Wanye Gretz, Connor Halley with you. Of course, big night in MLB. The World Series begins. The Dodgers and the Blue Jays in the game. You can listen to it right here on Sports 1440. First pitch will be just after 6 o'clock, 6:08 to be specific. But at the conclusion of our show, we'll go right to the broadcast. So you won't miss a pitch as you drive around. Should be a lot of fun. Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Now, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And boys and girls, do you like Monopoly? Well, you got 2 chances to win. You can peel on site and then do it on the app. Peel like a winner right now, only at McDonald's. As the Edmonton Oilers will be flying out. They're jetting off. Actually, they're probably all in the air right now. as they are heading for back-to-back games this weekend. They'll stop in Seattle tomorrow night. Then they're in Vancouver on Sunday night. The Kraken currently sitting second in the Pacific Division with a record of 4-2-2. They are 1 point ahead of the Oilers. As analyst, former NHL'er Brett Festerling joins us. Brett, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Why do you sound so surprised when you say second in the Pacific Division?
Hey, well, let's be honest. If Seattle finishes second in the Pacific Division, that will be one of the bigger surprises, I think, in the regular season. Good for them if they do it, but they are off to a good start, Brett. And what has been kind of the catalyst for this good start for them?
Well, I think one sort of health, because we started healthy. Now we're battling that. But the biggest addition, I think, has been Lane Lambert as a coach. He's really got the group playing together. I think last year you saw a team that was trying to create more offense as a group, but they really sacrificed the defensive zone coverage and didn't really have a plan there, I don't think. And this year, Lane Lambert's kind of nailed down somewhat of an identity. We need to be a stingy defensive hockey team, and we need to play with energy and speed. And guys need to know the plan. We're not a reactionary team. When you're recovering pucks, you got to be where the puck's going to go, and guys got to know where it's going to go. So I think you've seen a lot of buy-in from that standpoint, even with some of the injuries we've had early in the season. And they seem to be putting it together and getting the results. I think the biggest thing is when you get the results from what the coach is saying, you seem to dig into it a bit more. And when we see games like last night, where they get Winnipeg, 3-0. They looked good. They looked fast. They played physical, and they played as a group. So that's been a really good start for Seattle.
Shane Wright, I thought last year took a real big step, especially in the final 45, 50 games, and is off to a good start. 5 points in his first 8 games, playing just under 15 minutes a night. Kind of where do you see Wright and is he a guy who could become like a really strong second line center, or do you think he still has first line center potential?
Yeah, good question. I mean, like you alluded to, last year he took big steps. He was healthy scratched early in the season for 3 games to really get up in the stands with Ronnie Francis, and we had Jeff Tambellini at the time in player development, and really look at the game and see where he can improve. And he took big steps, became very dependable, and you saw some of that creativity and speed that he does have, and he looked like a good young prospect last year. And this year, some people laugh at me, but he looks like a regular NHL'er, and I get he's third overall. He's obviously expected to do that, but at a young age, he looks very solid this year. It looks like he took a step in terms of his speed. I think his forechecking, he creates a lot of turnovers, and that just leads to possession time, and he's become very responsible and very dependable in this lineup behind Matty Beniers. So I don't know. Is he going to be that offensive dynamo, first line game breaker? Probably not, but I think he can turn into a 200-foot player with an offensive upside. He's got those leadership capabilities. People remember him as a captain of the World Junior team. So I think the sky's the limit for how much he wants to do. Is he going to be that first line dynamo? I don't know, but I think he's going to be a 200-foot second line center that almost every team in the league is going to want.
Brett Veseline joins us. Brett, when you played, you were, third pair defenseman in your career. And, sometimes you had to be a number 6 and number 7. So that means there's a few times where, hey, you're not playing tonight. It's really hard to deal with it, I would assume, after a while. Yeah. The Kraken have 3 goalies, which obviously is not ideal. Yeah. So it's not just one guy who's not playing, it's 2 guys who aren't playing. Joey Daccord has started 6 of the 8 games. He's clearly their starter. Matt Murray played once, and Philip Grubauer played once. How do you see this long-term going?
I guess your guess is as good as mine a little bit. Obviously, with the e-bug thing going away next year, more teams are going to have something like this. But in terms of this year, I'm not sure. Like Grubauer, I think will be the first to admit he struggled a bit last year. He didn't have his best stuff. Joey obviously ran away with his confidence and being that starter, and obviously was, in that weird 4 nations talk where what country does he want to pick? So, Joey's ran away with it. Grubauer, I think, needs to elevate his game, and Matt Murray's here as possibly a backup for health with the condensed schedule, but also to give, try to get Grubauer that competition and that fire where they need to compete for a role. And you got to think Matt Murray wants to get back. He's had some injury problems. He had bilateral hip surgery. He's a competitive dude. He's won 2 cups. He wants to prove that he still belongs in this league. There's nothing, scarier to me than a vet fighting for his career. So I don't know where it ends up. I think it's great for competition right now. I think they're definitely learning how to manage ice time, even in practices and pregame skates. Do you include them? Do you not? Do guys need rest? I think the biggest thing right now is this condensed schedule. Joey's a starter. It allows them to be flexible with how they start Joey and give him the proper rest as they see fit here, especially when he's doing, quite a bit of games on road trips or whatever it is.
What have they been doing with the backup? Like, do they just rotate the backup guy to sit on the bench, or is it you go 2 on the bench, then I go 2? How does that work?
No, they kind of been rotating it. I don't have it in front of me, but most of it's been rotated. Last game, or I guess 2 games ago in Washington, they didn't dress Joey, so Joey got a full night off. There wasn't a possibility of him coming in and having to do that, because that happened a couple times last year where you thought you were going to get your starter kind of rested, and then there just happened to be, Groovy might have laid an egg, and then he had to get there in the third, and then he's planning to play whether it's the next night or 2 days after that. So, I think it's still a learning process. They're figuring it out and what fits, and we'll see. I think you're going to see more teams do this obviously next year, but maybe they're just trying to get a head start on it.
Now, are you expecting Joey Daccord to play tomorrow against the Oilers?
Yeah, I would. I would. He got his rest in Washington. Obviously, a big game versus Winnipeg, and then, even if you guys haven't had the start you wanted, you guys are a powerhouse, and everybody knows you're coming to town. So I'm sure we'll have Joey in that.
Well, yeah, the Oilers have had quite a bit of success early on against us. Yeah, like so you played. Like some teams are just not great matchups for other teams. And sometimes it doesn't even have to necessarily be the better team that's always, the best matchup. Some teams just have another team's number. And historically, the Oilers have matched up well for the most part against Seattle. You mentioned the injuries. How close are some of these guys to coming back for the Kraken?
Well, I'm not sure. Montour is obviously a big one. He's, I love Montour. I recommend anybody watch him that watches the game. The way he skates and pushes the pace is pretty incredible. He's over personal reasons. We don't really have a timeline on that, to be honest with you. I don't know there. It was nice to see Marchment back. That's good. Kako and Riker Evans, they'll still be a few weeks. And then McCann, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So, I don't know about the possibility of McCann, but obviously Marchment's back, and then Montour's on personal. We haven't really been filled in too much on that, but, just hoping that whatever that is, whether it's family or him, that everything's okay.
So McCann's a possibility potentially to return tomorrow night, maybe?
I don't know. They keep that pretty tight to the vest.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, you'd see if if he's not skating, you know how it goes, right? If he doesn't have a good practice, it's unlikely that he's going to be ready to go, which is obviously a big loss. He's the all-time franchise leader in scoring, but there's been a few guys like Schwartz has had. If I'm looking just at numbers, and I know that sometimes maybe can be misleading, but I did watch the one Kraken game, and Jaden Schwartz seems to be, like he's looking like the Jaden Schwartz from a few seasons ago. He's off to a really good start.
Oh yeah, he's fighting for all the time for sure. He's interesting. I think last year, like Everly got injured early last year with his kind of broken pelvis there, and Schwartz really took the reins for the leadership and trying to lead by example. And he seems to have found some youth there. He's tenacious. He's fast. You're usually looking for those guys to slow that part of the game down, but I think he's one of the leaders that way. So he's crafty. He finds ways to get on the score sheet. And he's still got that fight in him. I really like Jaden Schwartz's game. And he's, like you said, he's off to a good start here.
Well, and McCann's been out all year long. Like you mentioned McCann, you mentioned Montour. Like that's one of your top two defensemen. Kako is supposed to be a young guy that you're excited on. Even Riker Evans, another guy. So you look at kind of how they've been able to handle it. Who do you think offensively has made the biggest step up since McCann missed? I think it's three or four games now.
Yeah. Well, we got Yanni Newman, who's like a young Finnish winger that's playing with Eberle, and Matty Beniers. He's got a great shot. I think that's one thing they've improved a lot this year, or it looks much better and is much better in percentage points, is the power play. But Yanni Newman, I think he adds a shooter's mentality. He's great with those two playmakers that can get the puck up the ice, and he's good at finding the open space to use that shot, which most guys that have those shots are, because that's their deadliest weapon. But he's been fun to watch. I think he adds a bit of offense there, and he's picked up some of that goal scoring, because McCann had goals in his first 4 games, and it's all he's played. So he's been a good addition on that line.
Brett Fesserling joins us, analyst for the Seattle Kraken, 4-2-2. You mentioned the head coach, and I heard a few people say it's just, hey, anytime a new head coach comes in, that it gets your attention. But what is it about Lane Lambert that has resonated with this team that's different than his predecessor?
He has an attention for detail and stopping practice and going over it. And even up to the opening pregame skate of opening night, he's stopping drills and he's going over it and he's pounding it into their head and kind of creating that secondary nature where guys need to buy into that. So I think just that attention to detail is something they were lacking last year. And then obviously you have success early with it, and it just, it kind of snowballs from there. So, he's been able to get the guys to buy in, which I don't know if this team fully bought in last year and kind of, embraced that identity, but they have for the most part this year, and they've had success with it. Like a lot of their games, I don't know what the final number is. I didn't do the game last night. I came home to see my family, but the game before there in Wash, up to the second period, I think 96% of their time has been within 1 goal for the entire year. So they're really playing kind of grindy, 1 goal, tense situation games, and they've been finding ways to win where, last year or years past, they've been finding ways to lose or lost that structure because they were trying to cheat and get that extra goal. This year, they seem to be buying into the patience of it and buying into that system and letting your opportunities come and taking advantage of them when they get them. So they've been able to really embrace Lane's message, and I think the early success has kind of helped them, even with injuries, it's helped them all buy in.
And Berkeley Catton, we going to see him tomorrow?
I hope so. He's exciting to watch. I mean, I don't know exactly what their plan is long term here. Obviously, over 100 points in the last 2 seasons at WHL. He wins Player of the Year. I forget what the title of that is, but he's a really talented player. He's in that weird bubble where he can't go play in the NHL. That rule changes next year, but he can't go back there. I don't know how much that helps his development. Obviously, you'll have World Juniors, so it's an odd predicament they're in with him. But with these injuries, he's been able to step into the top line there, or one of them, and I think look pretty comfortable and make some plays. And the more we've seen him play, he's really kind of showed his creativity and his ability to play in tight scenarios and find open guys with speed and create offense. So he only seems to be getting better every day. I hope we see him. It kind of depends on injuries, but I love watching him. So it'd be nice to see him. And obviously for him, it would be it's a cool experience in your kind of first week playing in the NHL to play against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, I would think that would be exciting. Now, quickly for matchups, you look at the forward lines without McCann, and McDavid and Draisaitl are going to be split up tomorrow. Their coach confirmed that after the game last night. He split them up and had them center their own lines. Their offense actually got a boost, which seems odd. They're better away than apart. But Beniers, Chandler Stevenson, Shane Wright, is there one line you'd say, okay, this is the guy that they'd like to get against McDavid, and this is the guy they'd like to get against Draisaitl?
I mean, I think you're looking at Stevenson's usually took the top line. I'm guessing he would go with Connor. And then, this whole group's been really kind of by committee. So I don't know. I would probably expect Beniers to go against Draisaitl, but I don't think they have any problem. They need to switch it up to Ryder. He's use that speed, especially. So I would think it's by committee, to be honest with you, but I expect Stevenson to try Connor early and then probably Beniers to go against Draisaitl. But what do I know? I'm just an analyst.
Well, it'll be fun to see it. No one ever gets 100% matchup, but yeah, Stevenson on McDavid does make a lot of sense, and we'll see maybe the other guys split it up. Brett, thanks for this, man. Enjoy the game tomorrow night.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Brett Festerling, analyst for the Seattle Kraken. Quick break. We'll come back. We have the 2-minute warning with Cam Tait. Also, we got Craig Button coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, Spec LT and more on a World Series edition of the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And we've got a lot of people texting, hey, Gregor, I missed it on the Elks. What'd you say about Trey Ford? Well, he's not playing tonight. And that leads me to believe that I think they're going to part ways in the offseason at some point. That's just a hunch. If he was part of the future, you'd play him. You're not playing him. I think that kind of tells you they don't think he's part of the future. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think it's telling me. We'll return to the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sandy dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned, with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie, and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440. After every game this season, tune in to Andrew Walker for the post-game show. Let's talk some hockey. Let's talk about the game on Sports 1440.
Get ready, Edmonton. Glow Christmas Festival returns to light up the Edmonton Expo Center from December 4th to 31st with dazzling activities for the entire family. Wander the glowing trails, meet Santa in his sleigh, and shop from over 30 local artisans and vendors with handcrafted gifts and holiday treasures, perfect for everyone on your list. Get your tickets and learn more about what's on this season by visiting the calendar of events at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Mr. Rooter meets a ghost. 1 plunge, 2, and 3. A toilet clogged with a ghost? Man, I love plumbing. You're free now.
I will never find peace. The clog is fixed, yes, but I have never trusted the sump pump.
No problemo. I can fix that. Now go to the light, you little scamp.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
To resolve your unfinished plumbing business, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby. Vancouver's #1.
Even when it comes to meat snacks from Wilhawks.
I love the Harris Schweiner. The ham sausage rules.
But they will agree
Wilhawk beef jerky is the best.
it might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhawk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win friends with salad.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Enjoy a taste of Hawaii with Papa John's Aloha Trio, the classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizzas for only $19.99 each at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$3:48. Welcome back. Positive Friday. Gregor, Alan, Monye. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Listening at sports1440.ca as well as Sports 1440. Where coming up tonight after our show, we'll get right to the World Series. You can listen to the action tonight here on Sports 1440 starting at 6 o'clock. First pitch will be around 6:08. What they're saying. So there you have it. Hey, Gregor, what you're not saying is a bad organization don't develop or respect their QBs. The Browns played Mayfield hurt and roasted him. The Elks tried to make Ford a pocket passer. I can't believe he wasn't starting tonight. Jeremy, I don't think they actually tried to make Ford a pocket passer. I don't recall seeing that at all. Look at his pass attempts. He never had a high amount of pass attempts in any of his games. So I don't think they tried to make him a pocket passer at all. I think Ford wanted to become more of a passer because you have to be. You can't just be a runner. But if you look at the pass attempts for Trey Ford game by game, it doesn't scream of them saying, hey, stick in the pocket and only pass the ball, right? It just doesn't do that. So I don't think – I think Trey Ford wants to become more of a pocket, more of a passer, as he should, right? You'd want him to be able to pass the ball. But let's go through his game log this year. And you know what? He had 27, 36, 29, 17, 12. And then in the 12 game, he got taken out. So, like 27 pass attempts isn't crazy, right? One game over 30. It's not, that's not a massive amount. Then we go back to last season. And he had 15, 22, 17, 29, 20. So never over 30. So, yeah, I can't really agree that they tried to force him to be a pocket passer. Do you, Cons?
No, but I think it would be very beneficial for him to improve in the pocket. Like, obviously, when you have that athletic ability, yeah, like it's great to have that. And if nothing's there, take the ball down and run. And we've seen him make some explosive plays that I think he's the only quarterback in the league that can make, buying time, finding guys downfield. But to say they, I guess, tried to make him a pocket passer, I don't know about that. I wish they could have utilized his ability a little more, rolling him out, things of that sort, and give him the option, take the ball down and run with it if needed. But man, if they were trying to improve the pocket passing, that's only a good thing that would benefit him, because I think that's been a real, common trait among some of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in the CFL.
Yeah. Now, let's get to the 2-minute warning. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC. If you're like, man, it was too hot all summer, want to plan ahead, you can do it. LegacyHeating.ca. Cam Tait, of course, a longtime journalist in town. Cam, born with cerebral palsy, is in a wheelchair, hasn't let his disability stop him from being a fantastic writer. He's always wanted to be in radio, but due to his disability, couldn't until now. Through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning. And on Fridays, he asks me to read his words. Here is Tater's words with my voice. I've been waiting all week long for John Schneider, the Blue Jays skipper, to call me, text me, email me, smoke signal me, anything, because friends, could have been Toronto's secret weapon in the World Series. But alas, the phone sits silent, as quiet as the Rogers Center in October. Now, if you'll indulge me, let's rewind the film reel to 1973. Jubilee Baseball Diamond, 160th Street and 92nd Avenue, West End, Edmonton, where the grass was greener, the hot dogs cheaper, and the innocence still intact. I was the mascot for a little league outfit called Village Esso, managed by one Brian Wilkes, a retired radio executive whose voice could smooth the static off any AM dial. Brian had a hunch the other team was stealing our signals, a scandal of espionage fit for a spy novel. So he hatched a plan, both cunning and comical. He parked my wheelchair beside him on the bench, leaned over and said, "Cam, they'll be watching me, but you give the real signals." And so began one of the great covert operations in the annals of amateur baseball. Brian went through his decoy motions, brushing his cap, scratching his elbow, pretending to fix a squeaky rear wheel on my chair. Then in a whisper, softer than a secret, he'd murmur, "Send him." I tugged my right ear. Our runner took off like a prairie hare on payday, safe at second, every single time. Then came the bunts. Oh, those beautiful bunts. Brian would lean in, fiddle with the broken wheel, and whisper, "Bunt." I'd rub the tip of my cap, and sure enough, down came the perfect tap, rolling up the chalk line like a Sunday stroll. We won the game. We won the championship. And I may say we won the art of baseball mischief. So John Schneider, if you're listening, the secret's out. I got signals. I got strategy. I got years of subtle sabotage ready to deploy. Call me, coach. Game one's just the beginning. Cam Tait, 2-minute warning, Monday, Friday, Sports 14. Sign stealing now, it's a pretty big deal. Right? So Tater was basically, what I'm learning is, he was the Astros of 1973. Except, no, I'm kidding. He wasn't stealing signs. He was giving the signs so the other team couldn't steal him. He was like the anti-Astro. So now I wish I might have to get a follow-up from Tater to know, like, how subtle was he at tipping the brim of his cap, tugging on his ear. So we'll see. But I do know that there's always, like, football, I still think, is the worst. And, like, football believes wholeheartedly that there's always someone watching practice. And they're watching, and they know what we're going to do. So I know coaches at junior levels, high school. And, hey, I understand it, right? Like, if you look at what Belichick and them did, where they're sending people into the crowd, right, to videoing it. So, sure, it's going to happen every now and then. Do I think it happens at the rate that football coaches believe it's happening at all levels? Probably not. But because I know when the Huskies, Mike McLean, when the Huskies would practice, and they'd practice at Kinsman Fieldhouse, right below the high-level bridge. So now anybody who's walked on the high-level bridge, like, you're pretty far away. Now, I guess if you have binoculars, but McLean they had practice. It was late in the year one year, and I was back in 04, 05, and I'd been doing play-by-play for the team for a few years. So I'm down there watching a practice. And all of a sudden, he comes sprinting over, and he's talking to one of the assistant guys, and he's pointing up, and there's somebody on the bridge. And he swears that this guy is watching their practice. So he sends him up there. By the time he gets up there, of course, person's gone. Oh, God, he was adamant, man. They're adamant all the time. Someone's watching. Someone's watching from the high level. They're stealing. They know what we're doing.
You think you're paranoid until they roll out that drone conspiracy for the Canadian soccer team, was it?
Yeah, well, that was, stupid is.
But
right
then,
there.
like, all of us, you're like, they're not watching. Then they are watching.
But
like,
the greatest part of that was, like, they tried to fly a drone in a no drone fly zone. Like, if you're going to cheat, like, I don't recommend anybody doing it, but, like, to get caught like that, it's the epitome of, like, there's a rare breed, very rare, of, like, good thieves who don't get caught. But there's a reason a lot of thieves get caught, because they're not overly bright. It's just how it is.
When NHL coaches are talking to each other on the bench and covering their mouths on camera, do you think anyone's watching?
I don't know. They do it now in baseball, right? Like, the pitcher is talking, he's got his glove over his mouth all the time. Like, I don't know. You'd have to, like, hey, I remember when they had the lip reader. Like, I've talked to Jed Roberts, who is, and he's deaf, and of course Jed, I've sat beside him, like, hey, what are they saying? Right? And he's like, yeah, and sometimes he's pretty close, but he even says, he goes, like, the farther away you get, man, like, it'd be pretty difficult to know for sure on what they're saying. You can maybe guess a guesstimate based on, like, if you're playing a sport, on what they're trying to do. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's funny. You do see it a lot in baseball now. Like, every mound visit, they're covering their mouth every time.
I feel like even Oilers on the ice cover their mouths when they're talking to each other sometimes.
No, but my bigger question is, why do some guys wear a mouth guard? That's my big question. Like, what Leon Draisaitl's mouth guard is rarely in it. Like, it's in his mouth, but it's never covering his teeth.
Is it insurance?
No, you don't have to wear one. Some guys don't wear one.
But
like, you see lots of the guys chewing on it and stuff like that. But it's kind of fascinating to me to be like, why do you even have it in? Like, it's not really in your, like, you'll see him coming up the ice, 2-on-1 and the mouth guard's hanging half out. Like, I don't get it.
I always figured it was an insurance thing and that they had to keep it on their person for their policy, but they don't want it there. That's what I always thought.
Well, what do you mean insurance? Insurance?
Well,
for what?
imagine
You're saying you're not going to get face insurance because you're not wearing a mouth guard?
Well, if you're like have your face insured for a ton of money because you're earning $12 million a year, they may mandate.
Well, I don't think they have face insurance. I think they just have like, a lot of teams, some of the players don't have it because the team has to insure the contract themselves due to injury, right? Because if that was the case, then wouldn't they just say you got to wear a full face shield?
Strikes me it's always really good players that are dangling their mouth guards.
Well, yeah, Patrick Kane, Draisaitl, McDavid, Matthew Tkachuk. But there's lots you don't see, like, because some of them, I don't even think they wear a mouth guard. Like, honestly, I'd probably like to go around the Oilers room and because I've never even thought of it till right now. How many of them are wearing mouth guards?
Only the high value guys.
I don't know. Not about that. We'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, do you know if Frederick's dealing with an injury? He's been less than inspiring from Jurassic Bark. He is not. He's just in a funk. And like I mentioned earlier off the top, to me, he's got to physical his way out of his funk. He's not a guy who's going to goal score his way out of his funk. And like I look at him and Noah Philp. I watched Noah Philp last night, who's played pretty well. But Noah Philp, there's a very specific role if you want it. Finish your checks. For a young guy who's not established in the league, like Frederick's got an 8-year contract. He's going to get a longer runway. That's just a fact. Now, is the coach happy with how he's playing right now? Of course not. The coach wants more out of him. That's a fact. I know it for a fact. And he needs to do more. Like, look at his minutes last night. When guys got elevated, he didn't. And as a coach, that's really because coaches aren't going to yell and scream, hey, Frederick, right? They're not going to do that. They're not going to go Josh Anderson on the referee, right? They're not going to do that. You might do it once. You can't do it all the time. So the last option at times is, guess what? You're not going. Your ice time gets reduced. That's just how it's going to be. And so, yeah, Frederick's got to find a way to get himself involved in games more, physically, emotionally. That's what he has to do. He's got to get more engaged. Yeah, sure, you want him to score points. I understand that. But you can contribute in the game because very few guys score points every game. So you have to find a way to contribute elsewhere. And I think that he can improve in that regard. No question. 4:00, we'll take a Sports 1440 update. We got Craig Button coming back. We'll hear from some of the Oilers and more. But first, let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Winter is around the corner, even if we don't want to know. But it's around the corner. And they got 15% off winter tires. Great selection, great prices. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game 1 of the World Series going tonight out in Toronto. The Jays hosting the Los Angeles Dodgers. First pitch just after 6. We'll have it for you here on our radio feed only after the Jason Gregor show. In the CFL, the Elks season comes to an end tonight down at Commonwealth Stamps in town. Kickoff 7:30. You've also got the Ticats and the Red Blacks meeting in Hamilton at 5. In the NHL, 4 games on the schedule. Leafs, Sabres, Sharks, Devils, Caps, Blue Jackets, and the Jets host the Flames. In the BCHL, you got the Crusaders hosting Brooks at 7. Spruce Grove in Okotoks tomorrow. And the AJ, 4 games, including Devon hosting Old and Bonneville in Grand Prairie. In U of A action, Golden Bears hockey taking on the Dinos down at Clare Drake, while the Pandas meet the Dinos in Calgary. They'll swap cities for Saturday night's action. And at the Saville Center this weekend, you got Bears and Pandas basketball with Mount Royal in town. The action starting at 6 tonight, tomorrow at 5. For McEwen, their men's hockey team taking on Trinity Western tonight at the DCA. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and be joined by former NHL general manager, current TSN analyst, Craig Button. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need.
Mr. Dirk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
When pumpkins glow and night turns chill, there's one fall treat that fits the bill. A pizza shaped like a jack-o'-lantern with smiling pepperoni pattern. Thin golden crust, so cheesy and tasty. Get yours now, better be hasty.
It's a Friday!
For a limited time, for a spooktacular price, $17.99. Better ingredients.
But the Friday continues on, Jason.
Papa John's Jack-o'-lantern Pizza is coming for you. Spookily and proudly locally owned and operated.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Edmonton Elks Spectacular is back, presented by Goodwill. October 24th versus the Calgary Stampeders, featuring pumpkin carving contest and more. Plus, we're collecting donations supporting Edmonton Women's Shelter Win House. Tickets at GoElks.com.
Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers presents a massive 4-day unreserved heavy equipment auction at their Nisku site October 29th to November 1st, 8 a.m. Live online bidding. On offer core construction heavy equipment, trucks, trailers, nearly every industry covered, including over $20 million of ag equipment. Register to bid online. It's free. Priority bids, timed auction, on-site viewing on now. Demand for equipment is strong. Contact your local territory manager to consign. More at rbauction.com.
Wendy's most important deal of the day has a fresh lineup. Pick any 2 breakfast items for $4. New 4-piece French toast sticks, bacon or sausage wrap, biscuit or English muffin sandwiches, small hot coffee, and more. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Taxes extra.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips, we fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's
I've been
only
waiting
regulated
all
online
week long
gambling website.
for John Schneider, the Blue Jays skipper. Just after 4 o'clock, we are 2 hours and a few minutes away from the first pitch tonight. Trey Savage will make the start for the Jays. Blake Snell on the mound for the LA Dodgers, and hopefully the series lives up to it. I know, many people have the Dodgers as the big favorite. I understand why. They got a lot of money. They got a lot of superstar players. No question about it. But wouldn't it be nice if the Blue Jays could pull off the upset? In any league, I always kind of root for the underdog. Something about the underdog story. Who doesn't like the underdog story, right? It's kind of like, the favorite, they're expected to win. It's not as appealing very often, unless it's your team. If your team's the favorite, then you love it. You're like, bring it on, baby, bring it on.
The Dodgers have taken the role, in my mind, of the old Yankees teams, right? Like unlimited payroll, signing everybody under the sun. Mm-hmm. The Yankees aren't really Yankeeing anymore. They don't really drop insane money like Judge's era hasn't been that.
Well, it's funny. And you have one owner who has a certain persona and personality, and that's what George Steinbrenner was. Like George Steinbrenner, he didn't, you know what? Like, and he owned the team for a long time. He fired and hired Billy Martin numerous times. Like he was a different dude, didn't seem to hold a grudge, which kind of respect. It's like, hey, I fired Billy Martin. I'll bring him back. Doesn't, you know what? No harm, no foul. But away you go. And he did it. Oh, God, how many times is it? Like 4 or 5? It's ridiculous how many times. So it's kind of a fun story. And then obviously in the later years, obviously they spent huge money. And now the Dodgers are like, yeah, we're going to spend to win. You don't like it? Boo-hoo. And now what is interesting, because baseball has next season, and then after that, there's already the talk about potential lockout and strike because they're the one league that doesn't have a real salary, although they kind of have one, but they don't have one. And NBA has a salary cap, but it's obviously got some, you know, like the NHL one is the most kind of concrete. Here's a salary cap, especially now with the rule changes in the playoff portion of the salary cap as well. So, you know, baseball, it's funny. You talk to some agents, they're like, they're the last one standing. Can they hold out? We'll see. And you know what? I always say that when you have the billionaires who are like, well, yeah, we can lose some money, whatever. And the guy who's, yeah, okay, you know what? I made 2-3 million. It's still a lot of money, but depending on how well you've handled your money, are they prepared to do it? Like, obviously the superstars, like pretty sure Shohei Ohtani's not missing a paycheck. He's not like, oh my God, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Like, I would really hope not. That would be pretty awful, but you know, so we'll see. So there is, that is something to watch for, you know, next season for Major League Baseball. That because every hockey fan listening will tell you it's the worst. And I believe, I don't know if fans really like, sometimes you pick the player side, but the fans after, I remember in 2005, they're like, they both suck, right? They're getting frustrated, and as they should. You're just like, hey, we're paying money for it. Go play. Like, figure it out. You're all making enough money. Like, there should be more than enough money. When you have that many people that are struggling just to get food on the table, and you've got millionaire and billionaires, like, I can see why the average fan's like, pound sand. I have no empathy for you. Like, give me a break. So, and I understand it. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where, hey, they've got some special games. You want to get in on it. The Jays, some prop bets. Who do you like in the series? Lots of people I think it was 87% of people at PlayAlberta.ca had picked the Jays. Now, obviously, the Jays are the underdog, so you get better odds. I can see why you do it, but probably a few people picking with their heart, as you should. Why not? Put down $10, probably afford to lose $10, but if you win, you're a lot better and your team wins. So a double victory. We do have lots and lots of texts coming in today. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, not sure if you discussed it, but how about those Oilers Nordiques jersey in the game? I heard some mixed reviews. I loved it. Those babies popped. What do you say? King of Fort Nasty. Well, they do look very good. Those are probably two of the top 5 for me. And maybe even top 3. Like, the other jersey I'd put in there is the Minnesota North Stars, the original one. That was pretty sick. Now, I know some people will put in original 6 teams, and I get it because that's what you saw earlier, depending on your generation. Here's my one thing. As a Whaler fan, watching the jersey is just a reminder of what you don't have. So I don't love it. I love the jersey. I don't love seeing them in the jersey. Does that make any sense? It's kind of like I wish I could see the Hartford Whalers every time, but I can't. And I never will.
It's pretty crazy that the Whalers, their design is so nice.
Oh, buddy, it's unreal. But even that Nordic jersey looked pretty good too, man.
It's just crazy that arguably one of the nicer jerseys isn't an active team, and yet they still sell. Don't they sell tons of merch every year?
Well, yeah, but it's, because there's a lot of people, a whole new generation of fans like, what, this Hartford? Oh my God, I didn't even know about the Hartford Whalers. God, they're really good. Like, the jerseys are awesome. And so it's like anything. You get a new Oiler jersey, like, look at the Oiler jersey that they just unveiled now. And they've yet to wear it in a game. It is coming up later this month, in case you're wondering. I think it's actually, it's next Tuesday, they're going to wear it for the first time. So you watch the numbers after you see it in a game. I think the jerseys sales will spike, and then they'll go from there. So,
isn't that heartbreaking though for the fans in Hartford
No,
and
that's what I
Quebec.
just said. Yeah.
I kind of dislike it for that fact. Like, that's not your team. You guys left. Why are you doing it? It's like
But you still cheer for the Chargers.
Yeah, but they didn't change jerseys. They didn't change names.
But they left the city of San Diego.
Yeah, but they're not like changing colors and then in 5 years going back to those retros to make money, you know?
Right. But but isn't it still like, doesn't it? Now, I know you're a Chargers fan who doesn't reside there.
Yeah.
Right. So, but like you talk to Charger fans who live in San Diego and now they see their team, but it's not playing with that. It must crush them.
I would think so. Yeah. I think a lot of fans stuck with it because like they were Rivers or Gates fans, but some fans absolutely hate them, hate the Spanos family. I wore a San Diego Charger shirt in Vegas once. And I was like, lots of Southern California people talk to me about that. But I just think it's like, you know, you're wearing it, you took their team and you're doing it. It is a great look, but you're just cashing in. It's like when the Tennessee Titans wear Houston Oilers uniforms and they do it against the Houston Texans. It's like salt in the wound.
It's like you find out your wife or you got divorced and your wife has a new husband. You watch him wearing your clothes around town and you're like, hey, that's my outfit. He's like, nope, I'm there now. You're the fan of the
You left your outfit at your girlfriend's place? Like wearing your pants?
Wife in this fictional scenario.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one. Oof. That'd be really tough. Hey, guys, Savoy and Howard are really impressive. Skill level, compete really high with both of them. It's going to be interesting to see how they're doing in under 25 games or so from Painter. You know what? You heard the head coach talk about he's really liked Isaac Howard and how he's starting to figure out the game. And I thought the coach, I said at the start of the year, I think I know a lot of people have said, why isn't he doing it? Why isn't he doing it? Because it's hard. And what if you play them in the top line and they don't have success? Then you have to demote them. And now you're probably, deflating their confidence a bit. This way, it's like, hey, man, you're playing 10, 11 minutes. You're figuring things out. There's not a lot of pressure on you. Everybody's focusing on the big guns as they should be. And now you're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. Oh, okay. I can put you up there. And even if Isaac Howard doesn't light it up right away, I don't think anybody's going to say, wow, what a failure. But it's more so he goes into the game tomorrow night, and it looks like Howard's going to play on a line with McDavid and Mangiapane, and Savoy will stay with Podkolzin and Draisaitl. And so now you got a few more games. Obviously, Zach Hyman getting closer to returning. We're not 100% sure if he will be returning next Saturday. That's when he's eligible, and the Chicago Blackhawks come to town on the 1st of November. But Savoy and Howard, even though they don't have big numbers, they've been around the puck. Like, they're playing quick because the Oilers at times look sluggish overall. Like, Leon Draisaitl's got 5 goals, but I think Leon would be the first one to tell you he's not loving where his game's at. He even admitted it. He goes, man, I'm just not feeling it yet. So, and that's a good thing for the Oilers, is that a lot of their best players aren't feeling it, yet they're still 4-3-1. But you're right, Painter. I think Howard, Savoy, they've gotten a little bit better. They don't look overwhelmed at all. They look pretty comfortable. You're making plays, which is nice. And now when you get other guys back, we'll see where it goes. And then, there's some other guys in the meantime who I think got to get going a little bit more in their game. You'd like to see more from Frederick. I'd like to see more from Draisaitl. I'd like to see more physicality from Phil. He's got 2 goals in 9 games. I'll take that. And he actually even played 9 games. He's got 2 goals in 6 games. Take it all day long. Right? Well, they've only played 8 games, Gregor. They can't play 9, you idiot. So, but yeah, he's got 2 in 6 or 5 games, whatever he's played, which is fine. But he's not going to be here to be a goal scorer. I think he's got to recognize, like, I got to come out there and I got to grind it up with some guys. Like, deliver a hit. The guy can skate. He's 6'2". He's big body. Like, I'd like to see him use it a little bit more. So, hey, Gregor, if Ford doesn't come back, is Cody Fajardo back? I don't think he has the arm to go deep from Trevor. Well, Trevor, that is a great question. I believe Cody Fajardo is coming back next year. But if they're moving on from Trey Ford, then they're going to have to look at, what's the other option here? And, you got to do a good job in scouting, bringing in a quarterback, because we've seen it. Other guys get an opportunity and all of a sudden, boom, it pops for them. So, yeah, that's the key. I think Cody Fajardo can be a good quarterback for you. Can he be a great, he's not Nathan Rourke, and that's okay. There's not a lot of guys who are Nathan Rourke, but that's a valid question to see kind of where he's at. But having a veteran who just makes plays, like, does Trevor Harris have that much stronger of an arm? Maybe certain throws, yes, potentially. But, I think for Fajardo, his completion percentage is very good. I'd like him to be, he's got to throw more touchdowns, number one. And I think they've got to throw a little bit more passing attempts at times with him, and not be afraid to throw up into a tight window is probably how I would view that. Let's take a break. Craig Button will join us. Oh, it's going to be fiery with butts. Did Montreal get screwed over? We'll debate it next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
When pumpkins glow and night turns chill, there's one fall treat that fits the bill. A pizza shaped like a jack-o'-lantern with smiling pepperoni pattern. Thin golden crust, so cheesy and tasty. Get yours now, better be hasty. It's only around for a limited time for a spooktacular price, $17.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, yes, it's true. Papa John's Jack-o'-lantern Pizza is coming for you. Spookily and proudly locally owned and operated.
Bring in the new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel, she drives me crazy. Multiple CCMA and Juno Award winner, platinum-selling recording artist, and top 10 hitmaker. Celebrate the new year in Alberta, country style. Bring your friends, your cowboy boots, and your party spirit for a night full of hits, celebration, and unforgettable memories. The countdown to 2026 starts with Brett Kissel live on stage. Get your tickets now at silentiCenter.com/events.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Yeah, waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. I'm super excited to tell you today that we have fed over 250 families so far with our Feed 500 Families event. With that said, we are still short of our goal. We have decided to continue this on through to the end of October. With your help and your support, we can get this done. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand and go.
Yes!
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah!
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think she just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
Looking at the Alberta weather forecast, wild, unpredictable, brutally tough. When the weather turns tough, Titan Supply doesn't back down. Titan Supply has been protecting workers from conditions like this for 50 years. We stand tall with you against the elements with the industry's best rigging, hauling, and lifting products to get you home safe. Tire chains, wire rope, round slings, chain slings, and a whole lot more. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary. Online at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs. Specializing in selling and servicing cranes, get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's 4:20 on a positive Friday. Welcome back to the show. Gregor Show, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Lotto Max tonight. $30 million up for grabs in the lottery. Good luck. Just remember, if you win, you host a party, you invite us. If we win, we invite you. It's a fair deal. It's a fair deal. God, imagine the party you'd have if you won 30 mil. Woo! Gosh. Be a good one. Well, I don't know if I'd just waste the amount of champagne they just pour on people, though. I would say that. I wouldn't do that. But I would have I would have a fun there'd be some good fun party games, I can tell you that.
Do you think it's that fun to really like chug champagne like they do in sporting victories and like spray it around?
Oh, I would think it probably is, yeah.
Really?
Well, you're in such a euphoric state.
Is that because of the champagne though, or because of what you just did?
Of course, because you won.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're excited beforehand. That just adds to it, man. Like you spilled beer on yourself in an order game. What the hell are you talking about? And you're like, this is awesome. I'm soaked in beer. Like, why are you even asking that question?
Well, you're talking about winning $30 million and like spraying champagne.
No, I said I wouldn't do it.
Oh,
yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Yes, that's what I said. I wouldn't do it.
No.
Yeah, I'm like Meatloaf, but I would not do that.
Okay.
There we go. Now, let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company. Charlie, you win $30 million, you're going to be having a lot of silent rides. Everybody gets home safe. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca. Former NHL GM and scout, ace analyst for TSN. Craig Button joins us. Butts, how you doing?
I am really good. I got to tell you, Wanye, I've drank champagne out of the Stanley Cup a few times. I'll tell you what, it tastes good. And you don't put crummy champagne in there. You put booze in there. That's where you get it good. And, you know, after you've won and you're celebrating, there's no better taste.
Cool.
Now, Craig, I was at the game last night, so I didn't see your broadcast, and then people were saying, Craig Button's he's losing his mind, which, of course, you know, I don't believe everything I read. What was your take on the Edmonton-Montreal game last night?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't losing my mind. I was very critical of the officiating last night. I don't look at it. I support the officials. I've said it all along. I support the Department of Player Safety. I don't go with blind support. There's times when I don't agree with them. There's times they don't agree with me. I think that Rank and Schlenker are very good officials. They had a bad night last night. And, you know, when you start to look at the officiating and, hey, listen, forget about what I said. The Montreal Canadiens were losing their minds. And I think they had every right to.
I watched the Anderson replay. And the minute you do the stick tap right up to an official, I was like, that's a penalty all day long. Now, the Slavkovsky call I thought was terrible. That's not a penalty. And you know me, I don't want hits from behind, but I didn't think that was a penalty at all in that game. I can't recall a game where there's been two penalties right after a goal, one on Edmonton and Bouchard and then one on Anderson. But I'll say I thought both were warranted after the calls. Right? I think if Anderson just barks and yells and screams, I don't think it gets a penalty. But the minute he does that, oh, look at you, congratulations, tap, I think you're getting teed up every time doing that.
I didn't criticize that one.
Yeah.
I didn't criticize that one. I criticized Darnell Nurse cross-checking Lane Hudson from behind that led to the first Edmonton goal. Draisaitl takes out somebody in the corner, interference. It should have been called. The Slavkovsky's penalty terrible. And, you know, like you start to look at it, and so frustration builds. I'm not condoning what Josh Anderson did, and I know frustration gets into the game, and players have to control it. But at that point in the time, the referees had built that frustration because of the fact. Listen, goalies have bad games. Evan Bouchard is a really good player. He had a bad game last week. So what am I going to say? Oh, Evan Bouchard didn't have a bad game. The officials are better than that. The standard is higher than that in the NHL. They didn't meet the standard last night, and those guys had a bad night. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to agree with me, and I'm not saying you, Jason, or you, Wanye. I'm just saying that that's the reality of how I saw it. And I thought that game, and Josh Anderson's got to be better than that. I totally agree, but frustration by that point had grown.
Yeah, well, they kind of lost their marbles, no question. You know, Edmonton, even their Edmonton players after the game were like, hey, we didn't play very well. Like somehow we had a lead and then we quit playing. And then their power play did score twice. And the last 10 minutes, Edmonton actually woke up. But prior to that, Montreal was all over it. I know you do a lot of Hab games, Craig. Cole Caulfield, I've always thought was quick. He looked really fast to me last night. And it was the one where he streamed down the left wing, and Darnell Nurse, who's a very good skater in a straight line, he didn't make up any ground. And normally he makes up ground on guys. And I was like, God, this Caulfield guy isn't just quick, like in a short distance. Like he can really move. Is he faster overall this year than you've seen in the past?
Yes, I would say yes, Jason. and I think your observations are ones that I see. And that play like Darnell Nurse wasn't even just like, you know, how fast he was. Because he also, once Darnell reached, he brought the puck right in between that stick and snapped a good shot. And Darnell, a lot of times with that reach, can disrupt the player. Cole Caulfield not only had the speed, but he had the presence of mind to understand when Darnell reached, he had a chance to get that puck back into a shooting position. And certainly Cole is quicker and faster. I mean, he's 24. He's going to be 25 here early in the new year. And I think players can get faster. Players can get quicker. And I think you definitely see that with Cole Caulfield.
The Habs overall, Craig, you know, they're off to a good start. What do you make of the goaltending situation going on right now in Montreal?
Well, I mean, it's real simple. I think, again, I'll go back to this. Sam Montembeault has shown he can be a really good goaltender. He has not had a good start to the season. And Jakub Dobiš has had a great start to the season. I guess you look at it glass half full, glass half empty, however you want to look at it. You know, Sam Montembeault hasn't played well. Glass half empty, glass half full. Thank God we have Dobiš. And I, you know, do I think Sam can find his game? Yeah, I do. But to this point in time, it just hasn't been anywhere near the level that he's shown he can play at, and the level any team, not just the Montreal Canadiens, need to have their goaltender play at.
Looking at the Oilers, like, I don't think they've played very, like, last night was really the first game they were bad defensively. That being the one part of their game that actually been pretty solid, but they're 4-3-1. You know, McDavid's kind of been okay. Draisaitl, I know he has 5 goals, but he'd be the first guy to admit it. He says, man, I haven't really felt it. And, you know, they got a lot of other guys, yet they're 4-3-1. And, you know, they go into Seattle, who they usually beat for fun. We'll see if that changes tomorrow or not, but they could suddenly come home from a back-to-back and be 6-3-1 without really having played great.
Well, here's what last night shows, and I think Montreal saw it, they lived it, is that when you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on your team, you can play a really, like, subpar game. And when opportunity arises, like it did for the Edmonton Oilers on the power play, those two guys are so brilliant that they give you the opportunity to win on nights that really you didn't play well enough or maybe deserve to win. But and so we talk about McDavid and Draisaitl. I mean, their greatness is on display, and we know, you know, Edmonton Oilers fans, they know that they have another level to go, and that's always the scary thing about Connor and Leon. Is it the levels that they have played at are like all universe, and they're just all world now. And you know they're going to come out of it. And I may have said this to you before, Jason, but I know they're great players. And having watched them last year in the playoffs, into the final, I'm not sure I give them enough credit for being as great as they are. We talk about hockey being a team sport, but those two guys are unique. Those two guys are so good that they can lift the team to victory when the rest of the team isn't playing good, and even when they're not playing good, and when they're at their best. It's scary for opponents, and I think that is something that is really significant, a significant advantage for the Edmonton Oilers, because those two, you're never out of a game with those two guys, really, when you think about it.
Craig, last year, the Tampa Bay Lightning were the #1 scoring team in the NHL. They were also at the fourth best goals against average in the regular season. This year, they're 27th offensively, and they're 24th defensively. When do you get concerned about Tampa, who has 1 win in 7 games?
Oh, I think you have to be concerned right now. Like I really do, Jason. Because it's one thing when you're trying to, integrate new players, trying to find a way to get your level up to the standard you've established, that the Tampa Bay Lightning have established. It's an entirely different thing when you're trying to find that level. You're like, Nashville last year. You should have been concerned, but they had new players. I think for John Cooper, it's a scenario where you're not winning games the way they're playing. They're also taking a lot of dumb, stupid penalties. I don't even know if they're trying to prove that they're tough or something, but I think their game is in disarray. And if I'm Julian Breezeball and John Cooper, I'd be concerned right now. Like, really concerned.
Yeah, well, they got to snap out of it for sure. Like they've still got some top end players, no question. But to be like that bad in both categories, it's not like you say, well, geez, we're scoring lots of goals, but defensively we're terrible. Or, geez, we're really sound defensively, but we can't score. Like they're doing neither. And as you mentioned, yeah, they've taken a ton of penalties so far this season. I do get the sense that it almost feels like they're, they called up Sabrin, they put in the waiver claim at the end of the year there. At the end of the preseason, excuse me, where they're like, we got to get bigger and stronger. But I don't know if they're going about it the right way.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jason. I go back and I think about the Detroit Red Wings. They became a team that was really well balanced. They were a hard team to play against. And I think Tampa Bay, we're kind of in that mold of a team. Well, you start to think that, oh boy, we got to get tougher. They might have felt like they got pushed around a little bit by Florida. I don't think that was the case. But they start to feel that maybe they got to be tougher, and they get away from what's made them good. The Detroit Red Wings never got away from what made them good. And that's why they won those 3 Stanley Cups, 97, 98, 02, and they were a really good team. And teams tried to play, but they just said, that's okay. You're not pushing us away. You might be a little bit harder hitting than us. You might be a little bit more rough, but we're good. And I think that's what Tampa Bay has to get back to. They have to get back to knowing that they're a good team and just saying, this is our DNA and we're going to play to our DNA. I think they've gotten really away from what's made them so good for really a decade.
Yeah, no. And it's kind of, I know some people like, oh, John Cooper, it's wearing off. I'm not necessarily sure I buy that, but in the NHL, Craig, like it wouldn't shock me how quickly teams, I know that they're obviously being the exception there, but like if this went along, like I wouldn't be shocked, honestly, if they did something like that. Not saying it's the right decision, but we've seen it before that the coach usually is the first guy to take that gets blamed.
No question. Al McNeil, the late Al McNeil, he told me this many years ago. He goes, the coach's job is to maximize the ability of the team to play to their potential. And he says, if you do that and you're still falling short, you got a player personnel problem. He says, if you've got a team that's not playing to its capabilities, that's a coaching issue. There is no way anybody can tell you or me or anybody else that they have a player personnel issue. So, and I'm never hesitant to say it. It's a coach's job to find solutions. It's John Cooper's job to find solutions. If he can't find solutions, Julian has to think about finding somebody else that can find solutions.
Craig Button joins us here. Craig, I want to ask you, so I know it's very early. I've got Detroit, Montreal, Pittsburgh, as well as Seattle, Utah, Anaheim, and Chicago. They've all got double digits in points. Well, Anaheim has 9 in 7 games. But, they're all off to good starts. They're all in playoff positions. Of those 7, who are you most confident about to remain there?
I wish you would have asked me this question yesterday before Detroit went and got obliterated by the New York Islanders. Can I come up with your stage now? I got to tell you, I think it's Utah. I think it's Utah. The other night, they were playing a game. They were up in control at home. Colorado finds a way to get back in the game, tie it up, and they just kept playing, and they found a way to ultimately win the game. Logan Cooley gets a hat trick last night. They got to go about it a different way. I think it's a team. Last year they didn't have Jersey, they didn't have Marino. That put a really stress on their board. I think they're ready. And when I look at the Central Division, like St. Louis is struggling, Minnesota is struggling, and I haven't been really big in on Minnesota. It's a great story in Chicago, and if people aren't watching, Frankie Nazar looks like he's going to be a star in this league. But Nashville, I don't think is all that great, and Chicago, I think, will find its level. But I think Utah very well can find themselves. And the other team too, and I may have said this at the beginning, I'm not buying them as Stanley Cup contenders, is Dallas.
Yeah, they haven't looked good to start the season at all. Yeah.
Well, even when they won their first 3 games, Jason, they were up in games and just let leads get away from them, but they found a way to get on the right side of it. But I mean, they just haven't been very. I mean, Columbus went in there the other night and just walloped them. I don't think they're a hard enough team, and I think they have skill. And I'm not saying they're not a playoff team, but I don't see them as a contender. And right now, we're at this point in the season. I'm not in on them as one of the Stanley Cup contenders.
Now you're speaking of young superstars, Craig. I am stunned in a positive way of just how good Matthew Schaefer has played. Like Craig. So today on the DFO rundown, myself and Mike Rupp, he's an American, I'm Canadian. So every month we're going to put out our Olympic roster, and based on like now, obviously it's got a chance to change because everything involves in analysis. I put Schaefer in my top 8 Canadian defensemen right now. Honestly, he's played. I've watched him play, and I'm like, the Islanders are one of the more entertaining teams in the league to play, which I would never have said that in the last, I don't know how many years. They used to be so boring and methodical. They give up a lot, but God, do they move and they attack. And he is such a good skater. He plays 22 minutes. He looks so comfortable. I'm trying to think the last time, like Drew Doughty might be the last young defenseman who came in the league and looked that comfortable right away.
Yeah, I concur with you, and keep in mind, as teenagers. So like, there's other defensemen who've come in the league a little bit older, right? But as teenagers, right? And I think that it speaks volumes about not only how good Matthew is, but also how mature he is. And he's a really, really mature young man. And certainly, you know, I've been asked a question about the Olympic team, and it's a good discussion to have. But I think it's a legitimate discussion to have. Not that you can't say, "Oh, come on, let's not get ahead of ourselves" or anything. If you just watch the body of work and you go and you say, "Okay, what does he do well? How well does he do it? What are the matchups like? And how can you not say he shouldn't deserve consideration?" That's the way I approach it. So if you say you put him in the top 8, I'm not here to argue with you. Thomas Harley has been really weak this year. Really, really weak this year. And so he was on the team last year. Like, who would you rather have, Travis Sanheim or Matthew Schaefer right now? So your point to make a case for him in the top 8, that is not even a stretch right now.
Yeah, I know. Like it was and I looked 2010, Drew Doughty made the Canadian Olympic team on home soil with all the pressure when Canada had flamed out 4 years earlier in 2006, and he played great. And I'm like, man, Matthew Schaefer, if he continues to go down here, I'm not saying he'll play all the time, but to make the top 8 for Canadian defensemen, if this continues in 2 months, and that's why, hey, we open the rights to change it each month. But today, right now, based on right now today's play, there's not 8 other better Canadian defensemen in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't know if you read the article the other day. They talked to Wayne and Wayne Gretzky and Steve Yzerman about selecting the team and what they try to do. And, you know, they both said the same thing. They said there's certain players that you're trying to find you're giving them kind of a little bit of a courtesy because you know what they've done in the past. But with a number of other players, you're looking at what they can do right now. And so players like Sidney Crosby could go goalless for the next 40 games. He's on the team.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid, McKinnon, right? And I think that's what they were saying. But they also, because they were part of the selection process, I think that hearing them talk about how you have to evaluate what players can do right now, I think it's really important in this conversation when it comes to Matthew Schaefer. And so there's history there. You talk about Doughty. There's history from Wayne and Steve when selecting a team. And Matthew Schaefer just keeps impressing.
Oh, good. Does he ever? Like you scouted him, Craig. Lots. Did you think he was going to be this good right away?
No, not at all. In fact, after only playing 17 games last season, and then a handful at the World Junior, and I count the pre-tourney games and that game in a period, you know, I thought, like, he's a young kid, like birthday in September, just go back, get a lot of games, get ready. But, I mean, it speaks to his maturity. And, you know, Jason, the other guy I don't think we can miss is Celebrini. An 18 and a 19-year-old, and the both of them are just like they're dominant in their games.
Yeah, well, Celebrini had, like, it's crazy. He's had 2 5-point nights. I think he's someone who will he'll be in the conversation as well. It's going to be fun. We did both Team USA and Team Canada, and I like one last one before I let you go, Craig. How much grief should Chris Drury be getting for having such lackluster skill in his bottom 6 in New York?
Sure, there's not lackluster skill in his top 6 too.
Touche.
Yeah, I mean, I think the team. I think Mike Sullivan's a hell of a coach. He's going to coach the Olympic team, right? I mean, that team and you talk about being wrong. I thought Mike coming in there, and I give Mike so much credit because I think so highly of him as a coach. And that he's going to come in there. They're going to be way better, and they're better defensively, and they haven't been able to score. But that team, as constructed, like they don't scare anybody. They're not going to threaten anybody, and I don't see them as a playoff team. And they got one of the best goaltenders on the planet.
Oh, God, Shesterkin's being unreal, and they look brutal right now. So we'll see. Awesome stuff, Craig. Who are you picking in the World Series?
You know what? Why not just stick with the Jays? The Jays have had a magical season, and they just keep showing that they can find ways to win. I know how good the Dodgers are, but what the Jays have done and where they're at with home field advantage, they're not going to lose 2 games at home in this series. So I think that they have a chance to win it. So I'm going with the Jays.
Going with the Jays. All right, Craig. We look forward to it, buddy. Will be fun. We'll talk to you next Friday.
We will. Thank you, Jason. Have a great weekend.
It's Craig Button from TSN. Quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions and more. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Your one-stop shop for games, casino, live betting, lotteries, and more. PlayAlberta.ca.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights?
Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right?
Available now, only at Booster Juice.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
I'm Gene Principe for Legacy Heating and Cooling. If you need a furnace this Halloween, it'd be a grave mistake not to
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Need repair? Revampire your furnace. Just
Call Legacy.
Legacy has a skeleton of furnaces in stock.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Plus no interest and no prints of payments for 1 year when you buy with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carrion weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
Carve out for a cause at the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House. Indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for kids' sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets.
I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV, and I know a lot about how RVs work. I post videos on Facebook every week showing the weak points and how failures can occur. But even I don't winterize my own RV.
What are you saying, Rick? You don't think you could do it?
Oh, sure, Bob, I could do it, but I couldn't do it at a professional level. When you expect your RV to survive the harsh northern Alberta winter, this is no place for hobbyists. And I don't service used RVs all day, every day. Instead, I hired people smarter than me to do that sort of work. That's the team that winterizes my trailer, the same team that'll winterize yours.
Your RV service team works 12 months of the year repairing and maintaining used RVs.
That's right, Bob. If you want your RV working right in the spring, the real work happens now, in the fall. Our winterization packages start at just $99, and that includes a full report in writing. No surprises, just the great outdoors waiting for you when the last of the snow melts.
And that's no bull.
NobleRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. What's the best way to beat the tariffs by Canadian? CanTorque's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
4:48. We continue on. Positive Friday. Man, what a weekend for sports. World Series. If you're an Elks fan, you got their final game. They can play spoiler against Calgary tonight. No Trey Ford. Don't expect Ford to play, which we had a lot of texts coming in earlier. What do you think that means? Well, I think it means they're going to move on from him. Why else? If you thought he was part of your organization, why wouldn't you play him tonight? So if he's not part of the future, that's why they're not playing him. I guess there's, that to me is the only thing that makes sense. We'll see what happens, but that would be my guess on Trey Ford. But the Elks, you can't say they have nothing to play for. There's personal pride. There's some players, you can always, improve your statistics. Some guys are playing for a job. For sure. They're not all locks to make the team next year. So it's an opportunity to open the coach's eyes. And you play a Calgary team who's got everything to play for. They're trying to get a home field advantage. So they're currently tied with BC at 10-7. So it is a big game for Calgary. So Elks can play spoiler tonight. And then you got the Oilers back-to-back Saturday and Sunday on the road, Seattle and Vancouver, and 2 World Series games. So love it. Lots going on. Let's get now to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Where are your Brick? Your favorite furniture store. Furniture, appliances, mattresses, and TVs. They got them all. Your fan cave will only look better after a visit to The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question number 1. We got back-to-back Oilers games Saturday and Sunday. Brew the coffee. Who's your starting goalie in each game, and how many points will they walk away with?
I'd give Skinner the big start, Connor, on Saturday, and then we go with Pickard on Sunday so we don't burn our boys out. I think they're going to split the series, or split the weekend, rather.
2 points.
Yep.
Got it.
Well, they beat Seattle for fun. And Seattle's got, no McCann, no Montour. They'll battle really hard. I think Edmonton finds a way to awaken. They really dominated Vancouver at home. So I'm going to say the Oilers surprise everybody and win both, and then have a 6-3-1 start. Now, do I think they'll play well and win both games? Not necessarily. And do I think there'll be a lot of goals in both games? Not necessarily. I think they'll find a way to win.
Who's your starting goalies in each game? Skinner Saturday?
Yeah, Skinner's going to play Saturday. Why the hell would you play Pickard? Pickard just gave up 5 goals, so no chance.
I thought that before. Question number 2 for you. We saw a beauty uniform matchup last night. Whalers Nordiques, a.k.a. Canes and Avs. If it's your call, what is the best NHL matchup visually you can think of?
I'm very partial to the Battle of Alberta, and this is the only nice thing I'll ever say about Calgary ever, Connor. If we know each other until we're 200, the new red jerseys they have, and I can't explain it, but the red is somehow redder. It's a great looking jersey. The Battle of Alberta, mwah.
It means a lot from you.
Vision. Now, can it be any jersey?
Yeah, anyone.
When Minnesota wears the Minnesota North Stars, And if the Canes, well, they'd have to wear the white Hartford. No, that one's not as good. So I will go then with Minnesota wearing their the green, and then when Dallas wears their dark black with the neon. I like that one.
Very quickly, if the Oilers wore blue, would you ever be opposed to the Flames wearing red? Two darks.
Yeah, the two darks. I don't think they. No, I don't think it goes well. I think it would look great, but I think it would be a little confusing at times. Maybe I could be wrong, but I think the two dark colors at times gets confusing. But I'd be all for. Hey, we'll say this, and Wanya and I talked about during the break. I think the NHL needs to go back to white at home.
It's easier to tell everybody apart.
Yeah, and you should. But honestly, like I think half the season you should have your white jersey, the other half should have dark jersey, and you get to see the other team's jerseys. Because every team comes in, they always just wear white. Kind of boring.
What about third jerseys? Are you allowed to wear those at home?
You can wear third jerseys either way.
Question number 3. Sticking with the 3. World Series gets going tonight. What's your prediction? Who's going to win? How many games?
Jason 6.
Well, who doesn't like a little drama?
Wow.
I'll say the Jays in 7, but I don't feel overly confident about my pick. I'm going to be very honest. Like, God, I'd really like him to win, but geez, the Dodgers pitchers have been good. But like, I'd love to see Toronto win just for a little bit of an upset, and you just kind of put the screws to the USA right now. That'd be kind of fun.
I'll be the bad guy. Dodgers in 5. Season finale for the Elks. Is there a player or two you're intrigued by in this game, or is it a nothing game for you?
Well, it's never a nothing game because, players can get injured, all those different sorts of things. But if there was a player that I'm looking for, not really, nothing that I would, actually, you know what? I will go maybe a little bit, I'll go with Eland at right tackle. Just because I think that's a position that might be up for grabs. And will they consider going with 2 import starters next year? We'll see.
With the launch of ElksNation.ca, Connor, I can honestly say I've been very dialed into the Elks this year. I've been paying attention the whole season, went to 3 games, had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how much fight they have left in them at the last game of the season because I think it sets up well for next year. But I had a good time following the Elks this year. It was entertaining football.
Trending in the right direction. Final question for you guys. Drake celebrates his 39th birthday today, a pretty well-known Canadian. If you could do dinner, there's 4 of you there. So you have 3 guests, all Canadian. They have to be Canadian. Which 3 would you pick?
Drake being 39 is crazy.
Yeah, he's older than me.
Is he really?
Really, yeah. A little bit.
Well, I would go with Connor McDavid because that's my dog. Zach Hyman, also my dog. I was going to say the Iceman, but I know he's American. I didn't want Gregor to get mad at me on the air. So I won't bait him by saying the Iceman.
So who are you saying then?
The Iceman.
It's not Canadian. Oh, what a donkey. Who would they're alive? They have to be alive, right?
No.
No, that's too. It got to be alive.
You can bring back the dead in this scenario?
Yeah, if you want to.
Are you changing your answer?
Can I make the Iceman Canadian?
No.
I can bring back the dead, but I can't make Ike Howard a Canadian citizen.
It's true.
I see.
Yeah.
It's over to you, Gregor.
Who would I want to have dinner with? Well, you know what? I'm gonna go with Eugene Levy because I think he's a pretty funny dude. That would be good. And I'm gonna go with Martin Short because he's also a fun dude. And those guys would just have lots of good stories, I think, to tell. And then mix it up a little bit. I would throw in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander right now because his story is pretty unique. And I think those two could loosen him up. So he'd start talking more. So,
Connor?
I'll break it into 2. Deceased, Norm Macdonald, John Candy, Leslie Nielsen. Alive, Jim Carrey, Seth Rogen, Mike Myers.
Not a single sportsman.
Actually,
Yeah.
can I change one of
Just
my
wanna
answers?
laugh.
I want to put in Rachel McAdams simply because I want to know why she dated one of my friends. That's what I want to go for dinner. I want to get the truth, like what happened there. So I'm gonna. Sorry, Shy, you're out. Rachel's in.
SGA is a good call, but John Candy, that's a good call.
Oh, buddy,
We
John.
talk sports with him.
Oh yeah, talk about the Argos, talk about the CFL.
Mm-hmm. No.
In this scenario where you're bringing back the dead to your dinner, do they know about the future events that occurred since they died?
Oh yeah, they're watching.
They're no? Okay, yeah.
Absolutely. I'd love to get Leslie Nielsen's thoughts on the new Naked Gun franchise.
I'd ask.
Have you guys seen the new Naked Gun? Is it good?
No.
Not yet.
Oh.
I'd ask John Candy if he thinks Trey Ford should come back next year. I'd put it right to him.
Yeah. Well, should or is a very different question than will.
Good question.
Yes.
Good point, right?
I'm curious. Hey, guys, do you think there'd be a trade market for Trey Ford? It's a very good question. And like, there's only so many, like, let's be honest. Like I said, BC, if I'm looking at a fit, hey, you got Nathan Rourke. We could actually start him as a Canadian. That changes our whole ratio even more because I don't think he's listed as a Canadian starter when you have a Canadian backup. So, well, we'll see. But, I think Trey Ford probably wants to go somewhere where he thinks he has a chance to play and compete. That's what would be my guess. Now, again, this is just me. I'm speculating based on, I'm trying to read the tea leaves because we were asked questions on what do you think's happening with Trey Ford. He's not playing tonight. Or he's not scheduled to play tonight. He's not even scheduled to be the number 2 quarterback. So does that mean he's part of the future? I don't think it does. Because I'm trying to think the last time a team had a young quarterback who they didn't play in their season finale when they're expecting him to be on the team next year. So that's why I don't think he'll be on the team next year. I'm just basing it on that. Actions to me always speak louder than words. Coach is probably going to say anything in the post game. I don't think he's going to come out in post game and say, yeah, I didn't play him because I don't think he's going to be here. It's not going to say that. I respect why he's not going to say it. So that's kind of how I view it. And it's too bad because I still think Trey Ford, there's something there. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Buick GMC. For the rest of this month, there's only a week left, and they are so close to their goal of feeding 500 families. For every vehicle sold, they will feed a family of 4. It's a great initiative. You can help out. Get a great deal. Stop in, see them in person, down 97th Street, or go online, northgategm.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game 1 of the World Series goes tonight from Toronto as the Jays host the Dodgers. First pitch just after 6. We'll have that for you here on Sports 1440's radio feed only in the CFL. The Elks season comes to an end down at Commonwealth and Stamps in town. That'll get going at 7:30. You also have the Ticats and Red Blacks getting going shortly. In the NHL, 4 games on the schedule. Leafs, Sabres, Sharks, Devils, Caps, and Columbus, and the Jets host the Flames in the association. Raptors up on the Bucks 10-11. That one midway through the first quarter. In the BCHL, Crusaders host Brooks at 7. Spruce Grove in action tomorrow. They'll be down in Okotoks. And in the AJ, you've got 4 games tonight, including Devon hosting Old and Bonnieville in GP. U of A action this weekend. Golden Bears hockey taking on the Dinos down at Claridge Drake. The Pandas also taking on the Dinos in Calgary. They'll switch cities tomorrow at the Saddle Center. You got Bears and Pandas basketball with MRU in town. Tonight that gets going at 6, tomorrow at 5. And for McEwen, their men's hockey team taking on Trinity Western at the DCA. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and the host of the Lowdown with Low Tide, Alan Mitchell. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts. And play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Oodle Noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturing. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit the Brick
448
and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers presents a massive 4-day unreserved heavy equipment auction at their Nisku site October 29th to November 1st, 8 a.m. Live online bidding. On offer core construction heavy equipment, trucks, trailers, nearly every industry covered, including over $20 million of ag equipment. Register to bid online. It's free. Priority bids, timed auction, on-site viewing, on now. Demand for equipment is strong. Contact your local territory manager to consign. More at rbauction.com.
Hey there, this is your wake-up call. It's time to change to your winter tires. Unless you want to be sliding and swerving around icy roads like you're some kind of dummy, head to Big Toy Shop and get it done right for a great price. We won't lie to you, inflate your bill, or waste your time. Time to change your tires. Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road. 780-298-2797.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. Welcome back, Gregor. Connor Halley, one Gretz with you. Final hour of the week, final hour of the show. Right after our show, you can listen to the Jays games right here on Sports 1440. Game 1 as they take on the LA Dodgers. The Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where they got a lot of fun extra bets, odd boosts on the Jays games tonight. Go check it out. You got an hour. PlayAlberta.ca. Got a big one with capital letters. Please help. Gregor, I know you're a farm boy. What's the best way to repel mice? Well, I need to know more information. Is it in your house? We got to get details on this one. Yes, so I think anybody out there who lived on a farm, maybe even in Edmonton. I remember one of my houses in Edmonton that we rented. We had a little bit of a mice infestation at one point. And A is the key to find out. We found out where they were coming in the house because it's an older house. We rented it. So you had to, that started it, right? You got to find out where they're coming in. But yeah, it was a little bit of a mouse trap haven there for a while. It wasn't great.
Allow me to help our listener rather. Occasionally Wanye Manor gets mice. It's down by the river. I talked to my neighbors. They too have mice. It just comes with the territory. You have to show those mice who the apex predator is. It's either the mouse house or your house. Mm-hmm. You go down, I go to Home Depot. I get a whole bunch of traps. I put them everywhere. I have to be careful where I step, but I know that mouse goes for a walk. Chances are, and then the bodies pile up.
Yeah. Also trying to find, like, if there's a crack in your foundation or something to see where they're coming in, right? Then you got to, you got to get something that they can't chew through.
But what if 250 mouse traps line every house and room in your house?
But that's not solving. Like, if you stop where they're coming in, well, because then you just got to kill the ones that are inside.
Yeah.
But if you keep allowing them to keep coming in, well, the infestation's never ending, right?
In like 2020, when we weren't allowed to go out, there was a mouse in my house. And I thought it was just the worst. We talked about it every week on Real Life, our podcast at the Nation Network. And one night I was sitting there watching TV, Gregor, and I looked over and the mouse was sitting on its hind legs, like Stuart Little, watching TV with me. and I screamed, and it jumped into the air. It must have been 2 feet. And then I went and bought every mousetrap Home Depot would sell.
All right. 833-401-1440. We'll find out more details. Let's get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. I'll tell you right now, when they're building the foundation on things, no mice getting in there. Got everything top notch at GS Construction. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
You should name those mice, Wanye. Did you give it a name?
Oh, my mortal enemy. I don't want to tell you how it ended up, but it wasn't good for him, I'll tell you.
I want to see what happens when you line your hallway with mice traps, and then you drink a bunch of draft beer, and at 3:30 in the morning you have to go to the washroom.
It has happened. I put the sticky ones out, and I've stepped in one before, and it was better than a mouse sitting up on your couch with you, I'll tell you. It was too much to handle.
Ah, dear me.
Spec, the order players after the game last night were pretty honest. Hey, you know what? We didn't play great, but hey, we got to win. They played great for 10 minutes. The final 10 minutes, their power play woke up, scored 2 goals in 58 seconds. Josh Anderson lost his marbles and gave him a chance, and they took care of it. And then, then Pod Colson scored 5-on-5 in the game. I look at Edmonton, obviously still lots of areas to clean up for Knobloch, but I want to start with what gave you faith to think, that maybe they're starting to slowly trend in the right direction?
Well, the power plays. I think it starts for me with the power play. Like that power play is the offensive engine of this team. Yeah, they can, when push comes to shove, they could win games without it. But during the long regular season, that power play basically gives them, I would say to you, roughly speaking, a goal in 2 out of every 3 games. And that's where it kind of gets going. All the boys start feeling good when they score. They get a lot of touches. Something goes in. Now maybe I'm going out, try to get another. So for me, Jason, that's the best the power plays looked all season. So if you ask me to pick one place yesterday that makes me think they took a stride, that's where it is.
All right. Well, it came up with 2 huge power play goals. No question about that. And within under a minute. And the one guy, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, has been the Oilers' best skater for sure through this season. Got 5 goals in 8 games, which ties his best start for goals through an 8-game stretch. He's actually had 11 points twice in his first 8 games. So it's not the most points he's had with 9. But, that was a pretty nifty goal on the backhand, going upstairs. He's actually scored some really nice goals this year.
Yeah, 2 almost identical backhands to the same spot past Montembeault. You don't see that very often within a 5-minute span of each other. But yeah, Nugent, you know what? Nugent-Hopkins he's starting out well, and that's good. He's another weapon. I mean, 2 years ago, he had 100 points. I don't think anyone sees him as a 100-point player, but 5 goals already. I mean, if Ryan Nugent-Hopkins can score you 25 goals, that's a weapon that you didn't think you had. And he's a veteran guy, good player, does so many things. He's scheduled, Jason, to play his 1,000th game if he doesn't miss any.
New Year's
Eve against games in an Oilers jersey. All due respect to Adam Henrique, who was the first guy to do it. I think it'll be pretty meaningful here in Edmonton when Ryan Nugent-Hopkins passes that number, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, no, he's going to beat it for sure. And, he has a chance to beat Kevin Lowe's all-time record if he plays in 79 games this season for most games played by an Edmonton Oiler in the uniform.
It's an eventuality.
It is 100%. Now, Ike Howard getting some love from his coach. He got promoted to play with McDavid and Mangiapane. Savoy's with Pod Colson and Draisaitl, and the coach is going to stick with him. But the thing that was interesting to me was hey, McDavid and Draisaitl together weren't as forceful as expected. Right? That's, the coach basically saying, hey, these guys haven't been good enough together. I got to split them up because it's not helping us with them be together because they really haven't done much 5-on-5 when they played together this year.
No, it's, we keep proving the same point to ourselves every season with this team. The Oilers are better when McDavid and Draisaitl are on separate lines. It's just a fact. We don't need to study this anymore. It's is the earth round? They figured that out several centuries ago. You know, we can stop studying if the earth is round, and we can stop trying to guess when are the Oilers better. They're better when they're on separate lines. The coach knows it. I'm not sure McDavid and Draisaitl completely believe it, but I'm here to tell you that's how it is. So, it's a question of finding. I know with Hyman out, that's one of your wingers and all those things, but they're just better. So the coach is I think he'll maintain that framework and keep throwing wingers up with these guys till he can find some chemistry. I mean, on yesterday's show, we were talking about how, oh boy, here comes Matt Savoy on the wing with these guys. And now today we're talking about, oh boy, tomorrow it's going to be Ike Howard playing with McDavid. And
Savoy is still with the big boys. They're just on their separate lines.
I guess, but like the blender's spinning here. And I'll tell you right now, they played 10 decent minutes out of 60 last night. It's going to keep spinning.
Oh, well, yeah. If they keep doing that, no question about it. They're going to need, they got to get going. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. A little bit more consistency. Like last night, probably the best example of Darnell Nurse made 2 great passes that led to goals, made one terrible defensive play that led to right after the Anderson goal, and then we had another brutal giveaway that wasn't scored on. It's kind of symbolic for a lot of guys last night. Giveth and taketh away.
Oh, for sure. And, Bouchard had another absolutely awful hockey game last night. I mean, we keep coming back to him, but we come back to him because he's he's supposed to be one of their best players. And I'm not sure he's had a good game yet this year. So, Nurse has been pretty good this year. Last night here and there. But yes, your best guys have to be your best guys. So that means Nurse has to be a solid defender. Bouchard's got to move a puck reliably to the right team. Draisaitl and McDavid have to produce points. Trent Frederick's got to. You're supposed to notice him physically. I've yet to notice him physically. Yeah, everybody has a role. Everyone has the things that they do well. Guys like Podkolzin, he's been a rare exception. Like he's checking, he's stealing pucks, he's grinding, he's providing pucks to other guys. He's been pretty good. But when one of your only consistent players is a third liner, I guess that tells you how your team's going.
Yeah. Well, you look at Podkolzin, he's also got 4 points in 8 games, right? Like it's a 40-point player. You'd be doing cartwheels if he finishes the season 40-point player. That's ideally what they would like. No question about it. But you mentioned Frederick, and I agree. He's got to get engaged, and I think his coach knows. I think Frederick knows it. Like to me, if I'm Trent Frederick, I'm going into Seattle, and I'm just like, hey, like he won't score his way out of his funk. He's got to, I think, just get engaged, get mad, be physical. And Noah Phillips spec last night, and I've seen it a few times. I'm like, God, he skates well. He does so many things. And there was 3 times on a forecheck where he had a chance to finish his check, and he didn't. And I'm like, dude, that's going to be the difference why you might not stay in the lineup when everybody gets healthy here. He's got to understand you can do things that other guys in the team can't. And we've seen you do it at the HL level, but he's not doing it here. And I know he's got 2 goals, and that's great. Scored fine, but he's not here to score goals. It'd be nice if he did, and I'm sure if he keeps scoring 2 goals every 5 games or 6 games, he'll stay for sure. But you got to do those other things if he wants to get more than 10 minutes a night.
Well, I'm going to channel my inner Ryan Rishaug because you've heard him say this too. I don't think there's an expectation from the coaching staff that you're supposed to go out there and hit. I don't think anyone's saying to Frederick or Phil, finish your check. We finish our checks around here. Right? That's not what happens on this team. We've watched it now for long enough. So you and me can say it. I don't think that Philp and Frederick are listening to our show right now. But if the coach isn't saying it, right? Well, maybe they are. Yeah. I doubt it. Yeah, if the coach isn't saying it, Jay, then it's not a priority. And I agree. God, certain, I don't look at McDavid and say, finish your check. I sure as hell look at Frederick and say, finish your check. I mean, absolutely. Fredericks, we got 7 years of this guy, and I'm starting to wonder if what we saw last year, he wasn't that effective, and we all said, oh, he's got a bad ankle. He's got a bad ankle. Well, he's healthy now, and he's a ghost. So let's go, son, right? We got 7 years of this guy. You're playing your first 8 games as a healthy Oiler, and you're a ghost, and he's not supposed to be a ghost.
Yeah. I don't like, hey, I've seen guys have bad years and come back the next year and be better. I don't think Trent Frederick is going to be a ghost for the next 7 seasons, but he has been for the first 8 games.
Not.
So Right. Like it's
talk to the guys in Boston, right? They were very underwhelmed with Trent Frederick, and we all kind of hoped that coming here he'd establish himself as find me a role, like just give me something you do. It's the old Craig McTavish line, Jay. Do something and get good at it, right? Establish what you do. And in terms of his time as an Oiler, don't ask me what Trent Frederick does yet. I'm waiting to find out.
Yeah, he hasn't been very consistent at all. Alec Regula, maybe the coach didn't want to confirm if he was available in the weekend or not. But if he is it a no-brainer for you that he comes in for Emberson?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, Emberson's carried. He hasn't killed the team. Him and Kulak's had a really good season, I think. And I don't think Emberson's hurt anybody. I don't think he's played his way off the team, but there's certainly only one guy that's coming out for Regula, right? There's no one else coming out for Regula here. So if Regula's ready to play and they want to play him, it's between him and Emberson. And once both guys are healthy, I'm going to say to you that probably Stetcher is, they got to do something with Stetcher, right?
Now you mentioned Bouchard. What about Ekholm? Ekholm's numbers are not overly shiny, right?
Listen, I'm not telling you he's perfect, but don't talk to me about his numbers when he's playing next to Bouchard every shift, Jason. Are you telling me we're talking about Ekholm's numbers when the guy he's playing with is giving up pucks left, right, and center again? We're not talking about Ekholm's numbers here. Are we really doing that?
Well, yeah, I am. Ekholm's been on the ice for a lot of goals against, more than Bouchard.
God, are you kidding me? Like, you go, it's like putting a donkey in the Derby and wondering why he didn't win, place, or show. Are you kidding me? I'm not talking about Ekholm's game here. Not when he's playing with a guy that's playing as poorly as Bouchard's playing. Sorry.
Well, I'm gonna look at how many of Bouchard's or Ekholm's minutes have come, or goals against have come with Bouchard and then without. So, because that's always the wonders nowadays. You can I can look up anything and find it.
Sure can. Yeah,
just
sure.
I've been watching. I don't know. I don't like. Hey, there's lots of guys. Hey, I don't think Leon Draisaitl's come close to his potential.
No, but that's not the guy I'm talking about. If the question is how many Oilers are playing well, that's a completely different conversation. But if you're telling me the one, I would say to you that of the Oilers' best players, no one's played worse than Bouchard. I know I sound like I'm picking on him, but that's just a fact. Through 8 games, he's been the worst of their top players. Yeah. And now you're saying to me, how about his partner? His numbers aren't any good. Well, no kidding, his numbers aren't any good, man.
Yeah, well, I'll just say so. Ekholm, here's some numbers for you, Spec. Ekholm and Bouchard together have played 120 minutes, and their goals against per 60 is 2.5. Bouchard has played 19 minutes without Ekholm, and his goals against is 3.18, goes up. Ekholm has played 18 minutes without Bouchard, and his goals against per 60 is 9.82. Now, it's a weird thing because I believe here's my one criticism of the Oilers in how they deploy their defense. I don't like how too often they will have 2 lefties out there and 2 righties because they don't want the guy going far side, and then they keep him, and then the guy plays his offside. Ekholm, go back and watch Game 5 against the Florida Panthers. Opening goal of the game. I know everyone's like, oh, Marchand walked Ekholm. Yeah, you're right. He walked him. What side was he playing? Why the hell was Matthias Ekholm staying out there on with Darnell Nurse? It was middle of a shift. It wasn't late in the shift. It was a center ice faceoff. And he stayed on the right side. Ekholm plays left side. He's always played the left side. And when you turn to the inside, you pivot to the right. He got burnt by Marchand going to the left. Now, Ekholm's been on the ice for 2 goals playing on the right side already in limited minutes. It's the one criticism I have of how they deploy him on the right side. I don't think it works.
Okay, fair enough. And when you say, I'm going to say to you, is your stat in all situations? Does it include being shorthanded?
No, this is just 5-on-5, dude. Okay. I don't. PK
obviously, the times he plays the most minutes without Bouchard is when they're killing penalties.
No. I would never do that. That would be misleading. I'm only doing 5-on-5.
Okay. Anyway, listen, those are the stats. I'm just saying to you that,
Yeah.
Well, I've made my point. I'm not going to beat up on the guy.
Yeah, I just think that the overall defensively, like the Oilers, you're right. Now it's funny. Kulak and Emerson have played well, and they've played the least minutes. Like the top guys in the Oilers haven't played very well, but they're 4-3-1, and that's a good thing for Edmonton. Like they really, they had the one. Hey, Stuart Skinner stole them a game. the Vancouver game was by far their best game. They dominated that game start to finish. And the one thing about last night is they did score 4 goals 5-on-5. And that's been an Achilles heel for their team. Tomasic got a goal, a little bit lucky. Sure, it doesn't matter. You take a lucky goal. You saw a smile on his face. Podkolzin scored a nice goal. Mangiapane scored a nice goal. Henrique, get his stick in the lane, go to the net, got a deflection. So to me, the biggest pause of last night was they scored 5 goals 5-on-5. Their power play came up huge, yes, but they'd already scored 3 goals 5-on-5 prior to that. And if they can get a pulse here offensively 5-on-5, they could roll this weekend because Seattle and Vancouver, neither one of those teams have offenses that overly scare me.
No, absolutely. This is the type, if the Oilers can raise their game and turn last night's 10 minutes, 10 good, 50 bad into even 40 good and 20 not so good, they could get some points this weekend. I'm looking at Vancouver up the middle. I mean, oh my goodness, they got nothing. They're running Elias Pettersson as their top line center, of course, and we all know his story. And then the guys behind him are basically 3 minor league guys: Max, Sasson, Ratu, and who's the fourth guy? Nils a man. Like, you're going up the middle with a failing NHL'er and 3 AHL guys. That team is fairly ripe to be beaten, I would say to you.
Yeah, well, and I will say, I like the trade they made for Lucas Reid. Oh, 100%. He's a former first rounder. He gave up for nothing. He makes $1.2 million. It's a great, what's the risk in making that trade? There's way more. If he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. You lost a 4th rounder. It's basically like acquiring Podkolzin for Edmonton. Get him in a new place and see if what he can do. He's a different type of player than Podkolzin, but Vancouver needs somebody who's got some potential offense. So I don't mind that trade at all for Vancouver. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to work out, but the risk is minimal.
Oh, okay. We'll agree. A 4th round pick's not worth much. Sure. Didn't they just grab a 1st round guy from the New York Rangers and think they were going to rehab him? Kravtsov. He's in the minors. Then they grabbed Cheadle because they thought he'll stay healthy with us, but he was never healthy there. Guess what? He's not healthy with you either. Now they grab Chicago's former 1st rounder. The guy can't make the Blackhawks, Jason. He can't make the Blackhawks, okay? Vancouver's going to turn him into a player. He's another soft European player. They have in Vancouver about 15 of those guys, right? About 15. They're bringing in a 16th, and they're going to be smarter than Chicago because he's going to play for them, even though he couldn't play for the Blackhawks, who are a last place team. I don't get me past getting them for a 4th round pick. And I'm asking you, how on earth is that going to help the Vancouver Canucks?
Well, I think in Vancouver at this stage, it's in Chicago. Chicago's got a boatload of young guys. They're not all going to play. All your young guys can't play at the same time. It's virtually impossible.
But it doesn't mean that if you're the guy they let go, how bad are you?
Well, they might view you bad at that time, but we can give you a list of guys. Like, why did Vancouver? You don't think Vancouver could use Podkolzin? Why'd they let him go?
Listen, Podkolzin's a different player. He leaves there as a first round pick who disappointed, comes to Edmonton as a 3rd line guy. I know he plays with Draisaitl. I watch it too, but he's basically a depth forward who plays physically. No points are required, and he's having a nice career, nice rejuvenation. Sure, but everyone in Vancouver is talking about Reichel like he's going to come in and be a skill guy, right? I don't know. I just look at Vancouver's lineup. They got 10 Lucas Reichels in it already.
Yeah, well, but to me, he's a former 1st rounder who hasn't lived up to it. And you get to a new place. So I'm not saying it's going to work. I just like the bet by Vancouver. They got to try something. Like, they can't just sit there. I'd play him at center. He probably has more skill. He could be their 2nd line center spec, and he can play with some skill. I'm not saying, but look at who they have. You listed off the guys they have. It's not like he's got to beat out Leon Draisaitl or Nugent Hopkins or Adam Henrique for their 2nd line center spot.
No, they got nothing down the middle. I mean, they got nothing. So yeah, sure, he can walk in and try his best, and maybe that's, when you look at the matchup on Sunday night, the Oilers go down the middle. Let's say they go McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and Henrique, and then the Vancouver Canucks are going to go Pettersson, Sasson, Ratu. And who's the last guy named? A man, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you can't, you could play that game 20 times and you're probably going to lose at 17. So I'm not, maybe they win Sunday, the Canucks. I'm not saying they can't, but you can't go to war that week down the middle, Jason. You cannot play with a group of centermen like that.
Yeah, and I think that's, whether Reichel can be their center iceman or not depends. Is it a high probability? Of course not. But for a team that definitely needs something, I'd rather do that than people were saying go overpay, and try to get Zacha, right? I'm like, is Pavel Zacha really going to be that good for you, and what you might have to give up to get him? So
I hear you, buddy.
They're in trouble because the reason they're in trouble is they traded for guys thinking, hey, if we get rid of Miller, it's going to help our $11.6 million centerman, and it's not helping.
No, they're too small, too soft, not enough. They don't have enough. I'm not a fan of Vancouver's lineup. I'm not a fan of their GM. I don't know what Alvin has got tunnel vision for Swedish guys. I mean, half that team's Swedish. I love Swedes. Every team should have a few guys. You can't have a whole team. You can't have a whole team of Czechs. You can't have a whole team of, even probably maybe Canadians. I don't know. But certainly you got to mix it around, right? Certain cultures pump out certain hockey players. And in the National Hockey League, if you've got all Swedes, then you're coming to war like Leksand or Timrå. And those teams wouldn't win in our league. So they got to figure it out in Vancouver, man. I don't know what's going on there.
Spec, what is your prediction for the World Series?
I'm picking the Jays. I don't care what they say. I think that the most interesting part about this for me is the pitching staff that strikes out the most is going up against the hitting order that strikes out the least. And that to me is where we're going to see I think that the Jays will create enough contact and get on base enough that they'll win that battle. And when they win that battle, it's going to help them win a series. What do you think?
Well, I'm picking the Jays, but probably just because I don't want the Dodgers to win. So you're right. If they can get some hits, what they've done all year long, it's hard to bet against them. But good pitching, man, that's hard to hit too. I do want to get this one quickly from Sam and Leduca. Hey guys, I'm a newcomer. I came from Scotland in 2017. I have no experience with baseball. What are your tips for new reviewers in baseball so what should I look for? Best way to enjoy the game? Go Jays, Sam and Leduc.
Oh boy. What do you think?
Well, I think the easiest, baseball luckily is pretty simple. I find to follow. If you like, pitcher stands on the mound, he's got to pitch, and the play starts at the exact same spot every time. So it's not overly difficult really to watch for. The key is to understand like lefties versus if you're a left-handed pitcher, you know what? In theory, you should have an advantage over left-handed batters. And if you're a right-handed pitcher, you should have it. And that's because of the release point and everything. So that's why the Jays tonight, because Snell's a lefty, that's why Lucas is out of the lineup to start and Schneider's in and Straw's in because they, they're righties and they think they'll have a better chance to get on base. So that's probably the easiest thing to watch for. And I say, hey, listen to the broadcast. They're pretty good at explaining some of the smaller details, but luckily baseball, you don't like the strategy is lefty versus righty, wondering why you're bringing guys in at certain times, but obviously it doesn't always work. It's not like Vladdy Guerrero's not going to hit against a lefty, right? Or like he's
for sure.
Or a righty, I should say. He's always hitting, right? Like your best guys are always hitting.
I'd say that if I was instructing a newcomer on how to enjoy baseball, I would say the one great thing about baseball is it leaves you plenty of time to eat and drink while the game's going on. The game announces itself. That's what baseball does. It's not like hockey, where when you look down and you look up, they scored a goal and you missed it. In baseball, it goes crack, and you turn your head and you go, oh, now I'll watch the action, right? Baseball announces itself. So in the meantime, make sure you got plenty of beer, a couple hot dogs, maybe some peanuts, and fill your face and have some fun.
Oh, that's good. Beck, enjoy the game. We will chat with you on Monday.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. We'll come back. LT will join us next. It's Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights? Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice. Charcoal menu? Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball. Where's that voice coming from? Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal. Can we please turn the lights back on? Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu. Wow, that is good. Right? Available now, only at Booster Juice.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for zombie hunters. Those who know their old decrepit furnace passed away years ago. Its decaying husk shuffling around now as the furnace of Legacy Heating will send your undead furnace to its grave, replacing it with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Protect your legacy from the beast in the basement. It's time to destroy the furnace of the dead. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Think your credit's not good enough for a new ride? Think again. Go Auto's car loan calculator is here to help. No commitments, no credit hits, just real answers. You tell us a few things, and we'll show you what you can afford. Text credit to 780-777-7777. That's credit to 780 all sevens. Go Auto. We do the math, so you can do the driving.
Get the lowdown with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton's sports leader. Sports 1440.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
Are you looking for safe and professional transportation solutions for your group events and sports teams? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Tait sauce. Buddy, quit rolling up to the bar and looking like it's grade 9 grad and you're wearing your dad's old work suit. Do yourself a favor and call Game Day Suits.
Game Day Suits is Alberta-based and makes fully customizable, made-to-order suits. Perfect for hockey teams, wedding parties, or even the office crew. Book your free consultation at GameDaySuits.ca.
I'm rocking one right now. I look deadly.
You know they can't see you, right?
Okay, Mr. Announcer, you want to go, tough guy?
Game Day Suits!
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Gregor special. Enjoy 20% off any regular priced menu order when you enter promo code Gregor at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Positive Friday. People are fired up in the text line, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our E-Well inbox, your partner in power since 1976. For all your electrical needs, EWEL.ca. Gregor Podkolzin scored in the third line, right where he should be. Podkolzin plays, no, it wasn't Podkolzin when he scored, wasn't he, with Draisaitl? I have to look that up. Last night from Nurse and Wallman. by the way. But wasn't he with Draisaitl on that goal? I'm going to double check. Maybe they had changed because they played together for the last 10 minutes, right? And he scored with Draisaitl, Savoy. Yeah, second line. There you go. At the top of the hour, remember, you can listen to the Jays playoff games right here. Sports 1440. Should be good. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. If you like selection and you like choice, you name the vehicle, you name the brand. They got over 29 brands, over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. GoAuto.ca. As Al Mitchell, host of The Lowdown, joins us. LT, how you doing?
I'm good. It's beautiful out here. I mean, I know it's late October, but it is a gorgeous fall, late afternoon, early evening. Very nice.
Are you going for a walk to prepare yourself for the game?
I'm all prepared for the game. I have to say, I thought, some things on the lineup were a little bit weird. Bichette being at second base, but I've come to grips with that. It's fine. They probably think that he'll be able to handle that. They probably like him in his shortstop play. That's fine.
That's way better.
They're batting him clean up, which I assume means that they're really comfortable with his at bats. Often, when a player, we saw it with Santander, when a player comes back from a long layoff, their bat is a little slow. So we're going to see, but I mean they're not putting a guy in the cleanup spot who they don't believe in. So we'll see. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see Trey Savage. This to me is like a monumental moment because that splitter that he has is unhittable. The Dodgers have never seen it. If he can control his nerves, I mean he could be a star. Not that he isn't now, but he could be a star by the midnight.
No, it's very true. What about the Jays' ability to hit Snell?
Well, Snell's tough because he won't give in. He'll run the count, and the Jays are very patient. But if I'm the Jays, I make damn good and sure that 3-2 pitch is a strike because he gets some strikeouts on some balls that are just not near the plate because he's counting on the hitters to be anxious. So he's a very tough pitcher. But they can get to him. He's 3-0 in the postseason, but he's on a great run. And we all know that, in baseball with pitchers, they can be on a great run and then they can have a blip, and maybe it's the blip tonight for Snell.
Yeah, it would be good. Last night, Al, the last 10 minutes were like a blip for the Oilers because the first 50 was not good. But hey, I guess when you play well for 10 minutes and you score 3 goals, then hey, you can win. So good for them. It was definitely not a Picasso by any stretch. It was an entertaining game, though. Like, that game had everything. It had some great plays. It had some head smack in plays. It had some temper tantrums. It had everything.
Yeah, it did. And I think that the Montreal Canadiens are going to be they are really good. They're not going to be. They are very good. Nobody's going to, the second time they play everybody this year, they're going to be more prepared. This is a real good hockey club. I think they had some discipline issues. I know I was reading some media, even in Montreal, that was kind of blaming the referees. But I think that when you are an NHL player and you're showing up the referee, there's at least some chance that you're going to get called on it. And that happens. I mean, look, it's happened to the Oilers. One of the things that I was reading, Stu Cowan at the Gazette, he's like, they should send, Oilers fans should send money to the referees. Hell, man, if you're a fan of a team, you've seen your team get screwed over time and again, and it happens to every team. So live with that and understand that you should have won that game. And part of the problem was a lack of discipline from players who were supposed to be leaders. And that's my opinion.
Well, here's the thing. I don't recall the Montreal fans being like, you know what? That Chicago Blackhawks team, they really got screwed over when they had 10 power plays against them, right? Early in the season when Montreal won 3-2, right? And Chicago had 3 power. Like this, the worst defense anybody, one team had more. It was 5-1 in power plays. Power plays aren't meant to be like, Bob got 2, so you get 3. It's not a participation ribbon. Some nights, guess what? You'll have more than others. And some nights, your team will have more, and other nights, the other team will have more. That's how it's supposed to be. Like, I didn't like the Slavkovsky penalty at all. I didn't think that was a penalty. No debate. Right. And guess what? Anderson, that is a penalty. It's a terrible call. What do you mean it's a terrible call? He shot the puck, which is fine, but then he does the stick tap. And I asked people, please show me the last time an NHL player act like a petulant child, skating towards the referee, slamming his stick, and who knows what he said. None of us know what he said at that point, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't like, hey, buddy, great call. I love it. And if it was totally done sarcastically. Like, once you start the little tappy tap, 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 you're getting teed up. Like, it's an easy call, I thought.
Yeah, I agree, and I also there's a magic word you can't say that may have been said. So you look at that play, and like, I think that if you're media, the story you're right, or the thing you talk about is this is a young team that needs to mature, and this is an example. You're on the road, you're in a game where you think you've won. I mean, you've just absolutely derailed the opposition in a very short period. Now you got to play a real strong third period, and I think they were undisciplined. They lacked maturity, and they let the Oilers back. And look, Oilers are a hell of a team. Like, this is a team you shouldn't do it against. But they were 2-1 the previous night in Calgary, I think, the final score. They are good. They are capable of playing disciplined hockey, but they let this one go. It has nothing to do with the referees. You're right. 7 stick taps. That's like, you're basically saying, send me to the box, I think.
Oh, totally.
LT, we were fantasizing at Oilers Nation HQ today, and we were talking about, can you imagine a cup finals of the Oilers playing the Habs with the guaranteed bullet in the no Canadian Cup winner? Would that be more exciting for you than a Leafs final with the Oilers, or would the Habs be the most exciting?
Well, for me, historically, the Habs would be the most exciting, but it's been so many years since we could dream of that, because the Habs, no disrespect, once Carey Price was unable to play at Carey Price levels, they haven't really been a factor. Now they are. So, I mean, when we talk about the in my lifetime, the Yankees of hockey would be the Montreal Canadiens, and the best team, post expansion has been the Edmonton Oilers. 5 Stanley Cups, been there 8 times. I mean, I know Calgary will be yelling, but when you've got 5 Stanley Cups and been there 8 times or 9 times, then maybe you can have the same brag. So to me, it would be great. Also, it's Eastern Canada versus Western Canada. Toronto is a universal hatred, so everybody gets behind them. Montreal has a massive fan base, as do the Oilers. It would be wild.
Yeah, Montreal, I think they got a ways to go in the building of their team. Man, there's some guys I really like. They got a lot of players I really like on their team, and I think their management, understands what they need. They need a little bit more size, especially on the back end and up front. But, man, they are quick, and they're entertaining to watch.
It was a thrilling game to watch. I thought, like, the season's brand new, but that's got to be one of the top 10 games of the season if I'm betting.
Yeah, they dummied the Oilers early. The Oilers were not fast.
No.
Darnell Nurse was not passing very well. Bouchard, was lost in the supermarket. There was a lot that was happening, and the Oilers looked like the team that wasn't prepared. Now, look, I get it. I understand. It's game 8. They've had a long, 2 seasons with a lot of hockey, and maybe they're not 100%. Maybe they just flew back, lots of reasons. But I will give the Oilers credit. Ordinarily, I'd be ripping them, but I will give them credit because there was a sliver of hope. There was a little light, and they took full advantage of it. And you've got to give credit to a team for doing it, because they came from a long way back. They played so bad, and then they played very well.
Yes, very true. Al, Howard and Savoy, at least for tomorrow, will each be on a top line with one of the Oilers superstars. Savoy staying with Podkolzin and Draisaitl, while Howard goes with Mangiapane and McDavid. What do you think?
Well, I've been so impressed with Howard. I mean, I know he's not getting a lot of ice time. I didn't like him in the rookie games. I think the worst he played was the rookie games, and he's incrementally getting better. I don't know if he's going to Bakersfield or not, but I will say this, that he does make mistakes, but he also makes really astute plays, and he can pass.
Yeah.
And we saw it with his goal. He can shoot. I'm really warming up to the idea of Ike Howard by spring, by March, April, being a part of this team and a real one. And Savoy, I just really like his overall game. I know he got the assist on the face-off win in overtime the other night, and he made a great play. Didn't get an assist. He got a great play on the Podkolzin goal right at the blue line. He saved it. Then he got it over to safety for the left defenseman. He does a lot of really smart things. I like both of these guys. I have no idea if they're going to stay on the skill lines, because you've got Roslovic. You saw Tomasic just scored a goal. There's a lot going on. It's fluid. Hyman coming back. But I'll say this, that they are making their case in the NHL, and good on both of them, because it's a damn tough league to break into.
LT is the imaginary president of the Iceman fan club. We accept your praise. Thank you.
Somebody said to me in the summer when they traded for him, they said, "Oh, I don't like arrogant players." I said, Glenn Anderson was the most arrogant player I've ever seen in my life. And if he wasn't, his line mate, Mark Messier, was. So if you don't like arrogant players, then you don't like the heart and the soul of the glory Oilers of the 1980s, because they had swagger, baby.
He's very popular with his teammates. It's worth noting on the Eastern Seaboard trip there, they came to watch him play. Like, arrogant might not be, he's definitely got a lot of personality, our Iceman, but I don't know if he's necessarily arrogant per se.
He's confident, and you need that. The league will beat you down, man. Yep. It'll beat you down, and he is confident, and I love that about him. And whoever didn't take away from him when he was a kid, good on them, because you need that. And he's very confident, and it's helping him right now.
LT, World Series, you're taking the Jays?
No, I got the Dodgers. Sorry, I got the Dodgers. I think that the Jays win game 1, but I think it's the Dodgers. Yeah.
So Jays win 1, Dodgers in what?
5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
LT, we'll talk with you on Monday. Have a great weekend.
All right, boys. Have a great one.
There you go. That's Al Mitchell, a.k.a. Low Tide Jason Gregor, Wanya Gretz. We'll come back, wrap things up on a busy Friday in the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Noodle, 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 nudes. Noodle, 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 nudes. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight, because dine-in is open.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts. And play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Fall into savings at Wolf GMC Buick. For a very limited time, get 0% on every 2025 Buick and GMC, including the all-new Buick Envista, the Encore, Envision, and Enclave. For the GMCs, 0% on 2025s like the Sierra Half-Ton, Sierra HD, even the Yukons. Get 0% on all 2025s. Plus, get up to 84 months on the GMC Sierra Half-Ton Crew Cab. But like the Leaves, these deals won't last long. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Strudley. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Canadian Tire's biggest tire sale is here. Save up to 25% on quality tire brands like Bridgestone, Continental, Michelin, and Motomaster until November 12th. Conditions apply. Details online.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Gregor brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action. On Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL. Get your power play amped up with UL, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. UL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through, busy week finishes. Man, it's going to be a busy week in sports. So much going on. I love it. The NFL, CFL, we'll know the playoff matchups by maybe as early as tonight. We'll see what goes on. Probably won't know officially till tomorrow. Of course, Elks' final game of the season tonight. And then they will pack up for the offseason. And be an interesting offseason for the Elks. Trey Ford, I think, might be one of the bigger names on the roster who will not be on the roster next season as we wrap up Wanye's world. What's in your world, Wanye?
Well, I was thinking about the Elks, actually. We've been paying attention, as we were talking earlier, because of Elks Nation. How do you give the Elks for report card grade for this season, knowing it takes a few years to bring a franchise off league bottom,
actually.
right?
What would I give them? I'd probably give them a C+, I think, maybe a B-. Like they developed some young players. Like I look at their linebacking core, they had some key injuries, and the guys that stepped in played really well. The guys you can look and say, hey, I think they're there. Probably a C+ because the D lineman free agents, that didn't work out at all.
They spent a lot of money.
Yeah, didn't work out. Injuries part of it, yes, but even when they were healthy, they didn't do much. The first 5 weeks, it was just, you saw their inexperience, but they improved a lot as the season went on. And that's why I think for the organization, I know it doesn't mean anything in the standings, but a win tonight would be good for them to finish off with a win. They had some home wins in front of their crowd. Get another one here, beat Calgary, you beat Saskatchewan, you beat Winnipeg at home. That's good. BC's the one team they haven't been able to beat this season. So yeah, maybe a B- now I think about it. Like they seem to be trending in the right direction, but like it's easy to get to where they were now. And let's say they win 8 games. That's great. But now you got to win 10 or 11 to get to the playoffs. Next year will be harder.
Finish up strong, Elks. We're watching.
Should be good. Who are you picking to the World Series?
Oh, Toronto, obviously.
How many?
6.
Oilers this weekend.
1-1.
1-1.
Come on now.
All right. See, I think they win both. I don't think either one of those teams are that good. So we shall see what happens. Have a great weekend, everyone. Please do not drink and drive. Don't weed and drive. Get home safe. Enjoy the sports, World Series, CFL, NFL, of course, lots of NHL action, junior hockey, youth sports is on. It's a great time. Have yourselves a great weekend. Remember, the Jays game is coming up next. Here's a Con Man on a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. On the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. LegacyHeating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game 1 of the World Series from Toronto tonight. Jays at Dodgers first pitch after 6. We'll have that one for you here on Sports 1440's radio feed only. Coming up next in the CFL, the Elk season comes to an end down at Commonwealth, taking the Stampeders. That gets going at 7:30. One game right now. Hamilton up on Ottawa at 13-7 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter. In the NHL, 4 games tonight. After 20 minutes, Leafs and Sabres tied at 2 apiece. Sharks up on the Devils at 1-0, and the Caps Blue Jackets scoreless at 6. You got the Jets taking on the Flames in the association. At halftime, Raptors up on the Bucks 54-52, and with 6 minutes left in the first, Magic have a 42-34 lead over the Atlanta Hawks. And the BCHL Crusaders taking on Brooks night at 7. Spruce Grove and Okotoks tomorrow. In the AJ, you've got 4 games, including Devon hosting Old Bears hockey, taking on the Dinos down at Clare Drago. The Pandas also taking on the Dinos, but in Calgary. They'll switch cities for tomorrow night at the Saville Center this weekend. You got Bears and Pandas basketball, Mount Royal in town, and for McEwen, their men's hockey team taking on Trinity Western tonight at the DCA. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, it is Toronto Blue Jays baseball on our radio feed. If you're listening online, Fox Sports Radio. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
In Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.